in order to enhance electricity supply and the surrounding areas. In B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. In C, what the estimated cost of the project is. And G, if there are no such plans, why, and what alternative measures have been taken to resolve the in the area.
Mr. Chibombwe of Bahati constituency, who asked the Minister of Agriculture, Housing and Urban Development whether the government has any plans to construct another bridge across Mansa River on the Mansa-Kawamba Road in Mansa district to replace the current bridge, which is in a deplorable state. If so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why?
So Mr. Christopher Chibuye, who happens to be Mukush North Member of Parliament, has directed this question to the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. He wants to find out in 5 parts. In A, when the construction of Mansa local court in Mukush district will be completed. In B, what the cause of the delay in completing the project is. And C, how much money was paid to the contractor as of June 2023. And D, what the balance was as of the same date. And in E, what the time frame for the completion of the project is.
Kawa Central lawmaker Mr. Halwindi will ask the Minister of Education whether the government has any plans to construct a boarding secondary school in Kafula Masa area in Kawa Central Parliamentary constituency. If so, when the plans will be implemented, whether the school will cater for both girls and boys.
So the next question, which is question 110, is coming from Mr. Mwene, who is Mangango Member of Parliament, and he's directed this question to the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. He wants to find out in 3 parts. In A, whether the government has any plans to construct staff houses at Nyangu Correctional Service Training School in Kaoma district, and in B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and in C, if there are no such plans, why?
Minister Dr. Musokotwane that for the year 1st December 2024, together with the annual borrowing plan presented to the National Assembly in September 2023. So that's it. That's what the order paper looks like today, which is a Tuesday, 17th October 2023. And so after adjournment, Joy and I will be here to give you a recap of what will have transpired on the floor of the House. Just now, we leave you with live pictures as we await for the Speaker's procession. Pleasant viewing.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliament for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Order, honorable members. I have one announcement to make, and this is to the effect that I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils as well as teachers from Shuttle Private School and Little Stars Pre and Primary School, Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. We can get back to our business. I've seen a lot of matters of urgent public importance. I hope that these are genuine matters of public importance so that we don't squander time. So please, honorable members, not genuine, but matters that qualify to be raised as such. And I saw that as we were singing the national anthem, members were indicating, so I was wondering what was happening. But anyway, the first will be from the honorable member for Nakonde. What's your matter of urgent public importance?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Nakonde to raise this matter. Madam Speaker directed that is the Minister of Health. Madam Speaker, yesterday's Daily Liberation newspaper, there was a sub-headline, and I quote, UTH forced to refer cancer patients to Tanzania due to broken equipment. Madam Speaker, the Zambian people would want to know how long this will take place, and also if the government, Madam Speaker, will be assisting those patients in terms of logistics to reach Tanzania. Madam Speaker, this is a serious matter that the public would want to know from the government. I seek your serious guidance. I submit.
Honorable member for Nakonde, you are advised to put in an urgent question. The honorable member for Lunte.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to confirm that I indicated before the national anthem. I'm not one of those who are busy doing like this when we are singing. Madam Speaker, my matter of urgent public importance is directed at the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning. Madam Speaker, today I read in the Daily Nation newspaper that debt restructuring drive cheers G20 finance leaders. Many Zambians, including myself, are now confused, Madam Speaker, as to whether, as a nation, we have restructured debt or we have not. Madam Speaker, you may recall in June this year, how the nation celebrated the restructuring of this same debt.
Honorable member, let's not debate. Let's not debate. Just raise your matter of urgent public importance.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we celebrated the restructuring of debt in June.
I thought I guided, Honorable member.
I'm
What's
just
the
finishing
matter of urgent public importance?
The matter,
Because from listening where you are, I'm just allowing you so that it's clear it doesn't qualify. I was just you put in a question. I don't know. Is it Daily Nation? Is it now the source of information? Everybody is quoting this. Is that truthful? Is it factual? Because the honorable member for Nakonde also got his information from the Daily Nation. Or Revelations. Now this is Nation. Oh, so many papers. But honorable member for Lunte, that matter does not arise as a matter, does not qualify to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance. So please find another way that you can bring that question to the attention of the Minister of, the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning. The Honorable Member for Chifubu. Oh, Chama North, Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My matter of urgent public importance is directed at the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. Madam Speaker, a few days ago, 10 remandees and convicted persons escaped from Chama police station from the holding cells. And up to this time, Madam Speaker, among them, it includes dangerous individuals, but up to this time, the police have not rearrested these 10 individuals because Chama police has no motor vehicle. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that Chama has no prison facilities, so these convicted personalities and also remandees are kept in the police cells until when transport is available to be transported to Rundazi, which is 160 kilometers away from Chama. Madam Speaker, this has raised serious concerns among the people of Chama. Therefore, is the minister in order to keep quiet without assuring the people of Chama their safety as a result of failure by the police to arrest these individuals? I seek your serious indulgence. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, when the honorable member says, is the honorable minister in order, is it a point of order or a matter of urgent public importance? Clearly, that matter does not qualify. But since the honorable minister is here and is smiling, I don't know, maybe he can, he can comment now or later. Would the minister want to comment?
Madam Speaker, the honorable member of parliament raised two issues. The first issue is lack of transport pertaining to police operations in Chama North. The other is the escape of the convicts from the cells. Madam Speaker, I'll comment on the issue of transport. Unlike the failure on the part of PF to provide transport to Chama North, where he's a representative, this government of the UPND has already bought motor vehicles for Zambia police. The vehicles are being registered, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
So the matter did not qualify. I just allowed the honorable minister to respond so that the honorable member for Chama can have an immediate response. I didn't know that it will go to the extent of who did what. But we can go to the next one. The honorable member for Chifubu. The honorable member for Chifubu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My matter of urgent public importance is directed at our honor, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, over the weekend, we had a storm in Chifubu constituency that has left over 40 houses damaged, their roofs blown away. As we are talking now, The people don't have where to sleep and even to hide at this stage. So it is a very, very sad situation. Most of their property are damaged. So we are appealing through the office of our Honor, the Vice President, through the DMMU unit, to come to the aid of our people in Chifubu before lives can be lost in Chifubu. We know, as a mother of the nation, she has that good heart to give a consideration to our people who are suffering in Chifubu. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Chifubu, you know the procedures to follow when you have such a situation. I remember that last week, was it the Honorable Member for Zambezi East who talked about a hospital that had been blown off. This is the rain season, and such things are bound to happen. Instead of waiting to come and raise the issue on the floor of this House, the Honorable Member is encouraged to engage Her Honor the Vice President's office, a disaster management mitigation unit, to come to the aid of these people. Please, Honorable Members, don't wait until you come to the floor of the House to raise such matters, because you are not doing justice to the people you are representing. So, Honorable Members, I'm sure the Vice President's office is open. Have you engaged the office? You haven't, see? You can engage Her Honor the Vice President's office, and you'll be assisted. The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise on a matter of public urgent importance on the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Local Government. Madam Speaker, constituencies like Chinsali and others in the northern region and other places have received CDF of about 7.5 to 7.7 million, when our friends like in southern and western provinces, they have received about 16 million plus. Madam Speaker, we are in danger. I am planning to go to the constituents over the weekend, and people from Chinsali have warned me that your friends have received CDF. You, what are you doing? So,
Order. Honorable Member for Zambezi, just hold on. Honorable Member for Chinsali.
yes, Madam.
I think the whole of last week, there was this issue that was being debated on the floor of this House. You may take your seat. This issue was raised in this House, and we all listened to why certain things are happening. It was bound to some activity, if you were following the debate. In any event, that issue does not arise as a matter of urgent public importance. Find another way to raise it, and also do engage. I know that the Minister of Local Government is very approachable. Have you discussed with him? Discuss and see how best you can tackle this issue. And now he's always talking about CDF, funding CDF. We are now in breach of Standing Order 67. So let's find another mechanism. The Honorable Member for Petauke Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Petauke this opportunity to raise the matter of urgent public importance. Madam Speaker, before I go on, let me first thank the government leader in the House, Her Honor the Vice President, for the good job you have done by subsidizing the meal meal, and I was one of them
Order. Honorable Member for Petauke, please do not introduce extraneous issues on your matters for urgent public importance. Do raise the matter, and if you have a word for Her Honor the Vice President, you can approach her and have a chat and congratulate her for whatever you believe has been done. Please, let's revert back to work.
Thank you. Her Honor, good afternoon. The matter is directed to Her Honor the Vice President, under Standing Order 134, and the good people of Petauke, they have also guided me to say, as you are going, the matter to clarify, if it requires the immediate attention of the House and the government, and this matter, it's in those lines. Her Honor, the matter is, last week, in the New Dawn government, they announced that they have reduced the price of meal, and I'm on record here standing that my people in Petauke,
Order, Honorable Member for Petauke Central, clearly that matter which you are raising does not qualify. Please take your seat. The matter you are raising does not qualify to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance. If you want to hear about the meal and how it has been reduced, put in an ordinary question. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Chilubi an opportunity to raise a matter of public urgency. Madam Speaker, of late, there have been reports in the international media as well as local media that in the region called SADC, there is shortage of maize and maize products. And that being the case, there are fears that...
Order. From where you are starting and you guessing where you are going, clearly does not qualify. Honorable Member for Bwengwa.
Thank you very much, Madam.
Order. Honorable Member for Bwengwa. Maybe just take your seat. Honorable Member for Chilubi, you've been guided. If you want to raise about anything, now I hear you shouting GMO. If you are alleging that there's GMO, you know the standing orders. What do the standing orders say? When you are raising a question, the question should not be argumentative. It should not bring in facts which cannot be verified. If you want to raise or you have concerns about GMO, do your groundwork. Find out the information. When you come to raise the question, you would have evidence with you to prove that what you are saying is the truth. Do not just come here to make allegations and make assumptions. That will not be admitted in accordance with our standing orders. Honorable Member for Bwengwa may proceed.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to raise on a matter of urgent public importance, directed at the Minister of Fisheries and Livestock. Madam Speaker, I think you are very much aware that Monze district has got the highest number of cattle in the country, followed by Kalomo, Choma, and Namwala. Now, as I'm speaking here, Madam Speaker, there is a suspected anthrax in Monze district, in particular Bwengwa constituents, and there is already confirmed anthrax disease in Sinazongwe and Kazungula. And that disease, Madam Speaker, can also affect humans. And it can also spread quickly to wipe almost the entire livestock in the country if it is not curtailed as soon as possible. Madam Speaker, I need your serious indulgence on this matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Bwengwa. You are advised to put in an urgent question. Honorable Member for Lubansesh.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity that has been given to the people of Rubansenshi to raise urgent public importance. Madam Speaker, as I'm raising this matter, I'm really grieved, and on behalf of the people of Rubansenshi, they are mourning. Last week, we were burying a lady who died out of maternal death, and she was put to rest the same last week. Now, Madam Speaker, the people of Rubansenshi, the people of Ruing district, and even in other constituencies, they may wish to know and find out from the Minister of Health what measures our office is putting in place to ensure that our pregnant mothers are safe when they are delivering at our hospital. And in this case, our mothers, especially in my constituency, they are even now asking to say what protection is there where you are in the hands of the doctor or at the hospital and a mother died after delivery. So this matter is directed to the Minister of Health to update the nation and the people of Rubansenshi in terms of assurances that she may assure the people of Rubansenshi that indeed the government is able to ensure that this come to an end. I submit and I seek your indulgence, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Rubansenshi. You may recall that last week, the Honorable Member for Kalabo Central asked a similar question, and it came in as an ordinary question. So, Honorable Member for Rubansenshi, since you have concerns concerning your constituency, you can put in an ordinary question to the Minister of Health to come and answer that question. But clearly, my assessment confirms that as honorable members of the House, is not yet, or we have lost track of what qualifies to be a matter of urgent public importance. Because I don't believe that all these questions that have been raised, these matters, over 9, all of them does not qualify to be treated as a matter of urgent public importance. Honorable members, let's go back to the standing orders and familiarize ourselves with the criteria stated for a matter to qualify to be raised as a matter of urgent public importance. We make progress. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order 74. The Honorable Member for Kanchivia.
Question number 102, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Sunday Chanda, Member of Parliament for Kanchivia constituency, is asking the Minister of Energy 4 questions. A, whether the government has any plans to set up a solar plant in Kanchivia district to supply electricity to the district and surrounding areas. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. C, what the estimate cost of the project is. D, if there are no such plans, what alternative measures are being taken to resolve the energy challenges in the area? Madam Speaker, the answer to question A is as follows. The government at present has no immediate plans to set up a solar plant in Kanchivia district. Answer to question B. Based on response in A, question B falls off. Answer to question C. The estimated cost of the project can only be established after a feasibility study for development of solar power plant has been undertaken. Last question, that's answer to the last question. Government has been addressing the challenge of electricity in Kanchivia district by undertaking projects that connect the communities in the entire district to the national grid. In 2022, government through RIA implemented a project called Copper Grid Intensification Project with a total high volume voltage length of 2.7 kilometers and medium voltage length of 15.6 kilometers at a cost of 13.4 million kwacha. The project is now complete. Under the 2023 work plan and budget, RIA is implementing another project in Kanchivia district called Mutwewa Walupwa with total high voltage length of 5.5 kilometers and medium voltage length of 4.5 kilometers at a total cost of 5.5 million kwacha. The contractor has already mobilized and works have since commenced. Government therefore encourages all residents in these areas to make applications for electricity supply from ZESCO Limited so that they can start benefiting from two electricity infrastructure. Madam Speaker, let me give additional information just for further clarity. ZESCO Limited has planned solar PV power generation plants across the country. These solar plants are grid-scale plants that would inject power into the national grid for general supply as opposed to mini-grids targeting particular customers. Therefore, the people of Kanchibia constituency will have access to the power generated from the various solar PV plants under these plans. Additionally, the Ministry of Energy is in the process of proposing for a policy adjustment to the Energy Regulation Board that will see low-income customers in rural areas pay connection fees over a period of 18 months from the current 12 months. After they pay the initial payment against the quotation of 50% is paid. The just ended subsidy was sponsored by the World Bank. Customers were asked to pay 250 kwacha and government through RIA reimbursed the ZESCO with $181 per connection. Government is currently in discussion with the World Bank to implement a new project called National Energy Access and Transformation, project worth $60 million, which is expected to reintroduce a component of subsidy connection in 2014. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Before we go to supplementary questions, there was an indication from the Honorable Member for Lunte to raise a point of order. What's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. My point of order is based on Standing Order number 65. And Madam Speaker, it is on the Honorable Minister of Energy who is just responding to a question. Madam Speaker, on the order paper today, there are 5 questions. I have seen one question directed to the Minister who was on the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, the Minister misleads us that he is answering 4 questions, when in fact he is only answering 1 question. Madam Speaker, I'm aware that him and myself come from a region where there is mental poverty, but he doesn't have that problem.
Honorable Member for Lunte, do you have to talk about... You may take your seat. Do you need to talk about this? Some of these are intellectual concepts which we need to get used to. The Honorable Minister was trying to interpret that under that question there are several parts. So I don't think that is a matter of poverty of the mind. He's just interpreting what he's reading. So yes, can we make progress? You want to, I'm done with you. The Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. Honorable Minister, I just wish to seek some clarification on the responses that you've given. Previously, when government was considering alternative and renewable energy, including solar, some of the limiting factors were due to technology, especially when it came to grid synchronization. I would like to find out whether presently the technology obtaining is able to accommodate so much solar energy as opposed to what we experienced previously. I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't understand what the Leader of the Opposition is talking about synchronization, because this is a typically different topic as compared to what I've got in front of me. The synchronization of solar into the hydro is something that is of highly technical nature, which I can come back to the House and elaborate on. I submit.
Thank you very much. I can see the Leader of Opposition nodding. Please do get back to him and clarify. The next one will be the Honorable Member for Kanchibia.
Madam Speaker, I thank you, and Honorable Minister, thank you for your response. True that we have Mutoa Lupwa, that project is ongoing. Thank you to you and the government. One of the things that I would want to find out, Honorable Minister, is the fact that Zambia has ample year-round sunshine, and which makes it ideal for solar power generation. The people of Kanchibia do not just want to benefit from solar power generated elsewhere, and we just benefit from it. We would want to participate and would want to see these plants, and we have a lot of the landscape is there, quite a number of studies that have been done even by independent or private promoters. So in asking the question, Honorable Minister, the mini the solar plants you spoke about, would they be...
Sorry. There's an indication for a point of order. But as we do that, Honorable Member who has just come in, is it Honorable Forchi? Cinda. Honorable Member, you were in breach. You were crossing while the Honorable Member for Kanchivia was asking a question. Maybe you didn't take note. Please, in future, do take note who is on the floor. Honorable Member for Luena, was it the same point?
No, Madam Speaker.
Okay, let's allow the Honorable Member for Kanchivia to ask his question so that we don't lose him in the process. Then we will come before the Minister answers. The Honorable Member for Kanchivia may continue.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I was actually being interrupted by my neighbor who has a name that proposes violence. Madam Speaker, we would want to find out if the solar plants the Minister spoke about will be placed in Muchinga and if Kanchibia will be included. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Before the Honorable Minister comes to answer, the Honorable Member for Luena, what's your point of order?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Indeed, I do rarely rise on points of order unless they are very, very compelling. And in this case, Madam Speaker, I rise on a point of order, standing order number 65. And it's in relation to the statement that was placed on record by the Honorable Member for Chinsali. The Honorable Member for Chinsali, during the session of matters of urgent public importance, did place on record a statement that is incorrect, misleading, and divisive. Madam Speaker, he said that constituencies in southern and other provinces have received more CDF than constituencies in northern province. Madam Speaker, is the Honorable Member in order to make such a dangerous and divisive statement when he had no facts to back up such an allegation? Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I seek your serious ruling.
The honorable members, when the honorable member for Chinsali raised that matter of urgent public importance, he was guided. And I referred to the various debates that we had last week on the same matter. So, and also it happened during matters of urgent public importance, you did not raise the point of order then. In any event, he was found to be out of order, so the matter is closed. So for now, the matter is closed. Let's make progress. May the Honorable Minister answer the question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the proposed solar plants will be dotted across the country. I cannot be specific on the sites where these will be located. However, I should encourage Honorable Sandy Chanda to encourage the people of Kanchibia to apply to ZESCO for connections, because the grid lines, the grid is already existing, or we can wait for next year, hoping that the negotiations with the World Bank, with the $60 million that is coming, will supplement the connection fees in form of subsidy submitted.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Minister, from Mutualupwa to Kavinga, it's 55 kilometers, and these are rural areas. Just as it is in Nyemba, you are very much aware that from the last degree to Chieftainess Map, it's 55 kilometers. And these areas, they don't have power, and it's expensive for us to start dreaming of connecting them to the national grid. And these populations, like in Kavinga, the population is high. And you may agree with me that there are people who are extorting people, small companies who are extorting people with their solar, the small solar mini grids. And this, it's not going well with our local people in these areas where they are densely populated. Do you have any plans? Because I know. Do you have any plans that we can come up with a plan so that we can start connecting these people to the solar mini grids? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Madam Speaker, the issue of connection fees in rural areas is receiving active consideration. I stated in my statement that the process has started with between RIA and ZESCO so that we can sort of discriminate between urban connections and rural connections. I hope that by the first quarter of next year, this issue will be resolved and the people in rural areas will be able to access slightly cheaper electricity.
Thank you. I believe the Honorable Member for Nyimba was interested more in the Mutwewambwa. Even in Western Province, there is Mutuwambwa, so we are same people. The Honorable Member for Kanchivia.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are encouraging our people in Kanchibia constituency to apply for connection with ZESCO, where the work has been done so far. And we would want, again, to place on record that Kanchibia is vast. It being a constituency, it also happens to be a district at the same time. So if you look at the area covered, the area connected, it's a very small percentage against the rest of Kanchibia. The more reason why we are calling for the energy mix, because we understand the benefits that would accrue to our people once this has come through. Honorable Minister, in an area where we are trying to fight and where we're trying to mitigate environmental harm like pollution and deforestation, solar just plays a role. Kanchibia has 2 local forests, and we don't want to keep Honorable Nzovu quite busy. So solar becomes a game changer in that regard. What is government's position on that? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you for that question. Madam Speaker, I'm on record stating that we anticipate to roll out about 5,000 main solar grids throughout the country. So Kanchibia will be part of the project as I've made.
Thank you. Let's make progress. This is a constituency-based question. Next question, the Honorable Member for Bahati.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 107.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Bahati, Honorable Chibombwe, is asking the Minister of Infrastructure the following questions. A, whether government has any plans to construct another bridge across the River on the Mansa district, as the current bridge is in a deplorable state. If so, that's B. If so, when the plans will be implemented, and C, if there are no such plans, why? Our response, Madam Speaker. A, the government is aware of the current state of the bridge and the plans to construct a new bridge across Mansa River on the Mansa-Kawambwa Road in Mansa District. The plans will be, that's B, the plans will be implemented once Treasury secures funds for the required works. And the C, as stated at A, government has plans. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Bahati.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for your response. It's good to hear that you have plans to construct an alternative bridge on the Mansa River, though you've not given us the time frame. Madam Speaker, the existing bridge is not just narrow, but it's also very old. It was constructed in 1952 by PWD. And Madam Speaker, what the people of Mansa District are asking is if this government can quickly construct an alternative bridge across the Mansa River, because we've witnessed in Mansa in the recent past the increased traffic flow, especially truckers moving from the Copper Belt to other northern parts of the province and the northern provinces of Zambia and Muchinga. So, Madam Speaker, the people are in their need. We don't want government to move in when this bridge collapses. How quick can you get to site, Minister? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member for Bahati, I think his question was, how soon can I get to site? And the answer is, I've already been to site. I've been on that bridge. If you want more details of that bridge, I can give them to you. The construction of the new bridge on the Mansa-Kawambwa Road will only be considered in future work plans. The designs and procurement of the contractor will be done once funds are done. As the construction of the new bridge is being awaited, government intends to construct 4 steel panel acro bridges across the Mansa River, which will serve as a diversion during the construction of the bridge. The project for the construction of the 4 bridges was initially awarded to Messrs. Shachitari in 2021 at a contract sum of 68 million kwacha. This was terminated due to challenges. At the time of termination, only mine excavation works had been undertaken, and an advance of 6.7 million was paid to the contractor at the time of termination. Government is exploring other means of implementing the works on the 4 bridges, such as engaging Zambia National Service. And since my visit to site, just to remind Honorable Member for Bahati that the New Dawn government of President Hakainde Hichilema is a government for the whole country. So we cover the whole country without favor, and that is why I found myself at the bridge. And as a result of my instructions on site, RDA in Mansa, that's the regional office, carried out the construction of approach-lined drains. If it goes there, you find that it's not what it used to be. And also on the guardrails, because when I was on site, it was a bit dangerous that people could fall over. We have installed guardrails and painted it, and it's looking rather nice. But it's right about the width of the bridge, and that's why we're saying that there are plans to construct a new bridge. And in the process of doing that, the diversion will be a temporary acro bridges. I have pictures here on my phone arising out of my visit to the site, and the Honorable Member is at liberty to come and see what that bridge is looking like at the moment. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. That was a more promising answer than the first one. I'm sure the Honorable Member for Bahati is smiling, is happy. The Honorable Member for Bangweru.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Minister, I've followed your answer very closely, and you have acknowledged that government has plans to construct the new bridge at Mansa River. Now, you've also informed us that you've been to the site. I just want to find out if the state of the bridge you saw when you visited is safe to use currently. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Two issues were identified. In fact, three issues were identified in terms of safety. There were no guardrails, which means that people moving on the bridge, including vehicles, risked maybe tumbling into the river. We have corrected that. And as I said, I've got pictures to that. The drains that were not in place, we have corrected those. The issue of the width of the bridge, yes, I think two trucks maybe cannot pass each other on the bridge itself. But that bridge has been there for a long time. As the question said, or the questioner said, was constructed in 1952. But these are some of the things that we are going to correct. We are mindful of what needs to be corrected. All we are waiting for is have resources. So we construct a temporary bridge using acro bridges, which will act as a diversion when a proper bridge is constructed. So government is fully aware of that. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chipili.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think my question has been answered. I wanted to find out how they have taken care of the existing bridge. Now he has explained. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we make progress? The next question. The Honorable Member for Mukushi North.
Madam Speaker, question number 108.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Chibuya is asking the Ministry of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development the following questions. A, when the construction of the Masansa local court in Mkushi district will be completed. B, what the cause of the delay in completing the project is. C, how much money was paid to the contractor as of June 2023. And the D, what the balance was as of the same date. And the E, what the time frame for the completion of the project is. And our response, Madam Speaker, is to A, the construction of Masansa local court in Kushi district will be completed by 31st December 2023. B, the delay in completing the project was due to inadequate funds. C, as of June 2023, a sum of 422,284 kwacha 28 ngwe was paid to the contractor. D, as of June 2023, the outstanding balance of the project was 445 kwacha 260. 445,260 kwacha 91 ngwe. E, the time frame for the completing the project is 12 weeks. Madam Speaker, this is one of those questions that appear to have been overtaken by events, as we have stated that by December this year, that work will be completed. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Mkushi North.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, you have indicated that the local court will be completed by December this year. My question would be, because at the moment the contractor is not on site, when is the contractor coming back on site?
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member of Parliament. Government is very mindful of the seriousness of answering questions in this House. And those that provide answers are also aware of the seriousness for a minister to stand and state. So when we say to be completed by December 2023, that is what has been planned. And unless something drastic happens, that completion date will be met. Whether the contractor is on site or is not on site, I think that is immaterial. What we should focus on is the date that's provided by government. Is that going to be met or not? The Honourable Member, if he's aware of any information that will lead us to conclude that we will probably not conclude by that date, is very free to approach my ministries, to approach me, and we shall carry out certain measures to ensure that the project is completed by December 2023. You must also be aware, Madam Speaker, that this project was given out to Green Tech Limited in 2012. And we know who was in power in 2012 at a contract sum of 867,545 kwacha. The construction works commenced in the same year, but stalled in 2013 due to lack of funds. 2013. This led to the expiry of the contract. At the time of expiry contract, 50% of works had been executed. However, in 2023, the new judiciary, under the learned council there, the Minister of Justice, through the Treasury, secured funds to complete the remaining works. So in August 2023, the contract to complete the remaining works was awarded to Messrs. Swengwa Limited. The contract sum is 1,799,354 kwacha 66 ngwe, and the completion period is 12 weeks, and is expected, as I said, that the project will be completed in December 2023. The contract has incorporated additional works that were not in the original scope of the expired contract, namely the litigant shelter and ablution block. Currently, the project is at 60% complete. But the main thing is we do intend to complete by December this year. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Mkushi North.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for that explanation. To my knowledge, the contractor actually left the site in 2014. And I get to wonder as to why the minister should actually bring in the issue of when the member is finding out when the contractor will be on site, and he brings that as immaterial. It doesn't mean well to indeed a person like me who is trying to find out as to when the contractor will be on site. I think every question that we raise here is actually material. So the ministers should not be trying to put us in that tight corner that we are asking questions which are immaterial. So what I'm trying to find out from here is that, yes, we know for sure that these issues of that contractor abandoning the site is actually long overdue, and he's been out of the site for a long time. Now, the reasons that we're advancing that court be completed is the issue of the major street court when they move into Masansa to conduct courts there. They don't have a space to sit on. They are actually using classroom blocks. So we would love a situation where the minister actually try and look into this issue as a matter of urgency, because by December, if he's really assuring us now that December the works will be done, can he really assure the people of Mukushi that indeed by December, even without the contractor on site, the building will be completed? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If we are genuine in what we do, to be reminded of history should not upset us or worry us. And I think the Honourable Member is also mixing two things. He's saying that the contractor abandoned site on 2014. This is what I said. But this is a new contractor, which, as I said, the Honourable Minister of Justice secured funds, and we got a new, different contract. I gave you the names of the contractor that abandoned site in 2014, and the new contractor that we have mentioned. And this is where we have also increased the scope to put in a litigant shelter and also a ablution block. And we have been assured that the works will be completed by December 2023. Madam Speaker, I can't explain it more than that. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Kanko, you also want to have a go at the question? Proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think in Kanko you found a lot of unfinished projects which were abandoned in the previous government, and we've finished them using the CDF. Yeah. Isn't the minister, is the minister, okay, let me ask this way. Is the minister advising the honorable member where there was shortfall of resources to complete projects which were not abandoned in the previous government? You also consider using CDF so that we continue where they left them. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think those are just wise words from the Honourable Member for Kankoyo, where abandoned works can be done using funds from CDF. Honourable Members should consider those so that we provide services for our people. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Mukushi North doesn't look very happy. For him, he wants to know when is the contractor going to move on site. Maybe that will put a smile on his face. The Honorable Minister, please assure our Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, money has been allocated and completion will be by the end of this year, December this year. Whether the contractor moves on site today, first of all, we have not even ascertained that he's not on site. This is the new information that I'm getting. As far as we are concerned from the ministry, it will be completed by December 2023. There is a contractor. I've given you the name of the contractor, and that's the one that will complete the works. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I've had actually closed. I was just appealing to the minister to put a smile on the face of the Honorable Member for Mukushi North. Yes, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Now you are raising on a point of order. What's the point of order, Honorable Member for Shwangandu?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the responsibility of our colleagues from the executive is to give factual responses. That's why these questions are forwarded in advance, to give them time, ample time, to verify what is obtaining on the ground, before they can come on the floor. Because whatever they say here, Madam Speaker, must go on government assurances record. Is the Honorable Minister of Infrastructure. In order to be so casual, it had to take you to plead with him to try and put a smile, which is not supposed to be the case.
Please, it was on a lighter note. Don't include me in the debate. I'm just a presiding officer.
I hear you, Madam Speaker. My apologies to draw you into the debate, but you did a noble thing.
I understand you are the stars, so let them shine. Proceed, go ahead.
Is the Honorable Minister President with a small p? In order to be so casual,
Order, Honorable Member, withdraw this present with a small p.
Is our fellow opposition leader, Madam Speaker, so don't worry.
No,
But
no,
I withdraw that. But is in order, Madam Speaker, to be so casual in responding to the concerns and questions coming from the Honorable MP from Kushi? Is in order, because if he says he doesn't even know whether the contractor is on site, how then does he give an assurance that this project will be completed in December? There's no magic in these matters, Madam Speaker. We seek your serious guidance on this one.
Well, since the minister is here, let him respond for himself.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And the point raised by the Honorable Member with a big P is hinges on...
Since I asked the Honorable Member to withdraw, may the minister also withdraw the big P.
I withdraw that, Madam Speaker, on a lighter note. The government assurance, Madam Speaker, here is on the completion of the project. That is where the government assurance is. And the government now is saying to the honorable member who raised the question that this project will be completed by end of December 2023. That is government assurance. If there is evidence that we will not make that date, then that question can be brought up. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Let's make progress. Next question, the Honorable Member for Kabwe Central.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the girl child in Kabwe Central and indeed surrounding areas, question 109.
The Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Member of Parliament for Kabwe Central asked the Minister of Education, A, whether the government has any plans to construct a boarding secondary school in Kafulamase area in Kabwe Central Parliamentary constituency. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and C,
Order, honorable members, there's too much talking on both sides of the House.
And C,
can we listen?
Whether the school will cater for both girls and boys. Madam Speaker, we wish to inform the House as follows that A, government has no immediate plans to construct a boarding secondary school in Kafulamase area in Kabwe Central Parliamentary constituency. And B, due to the response in Part A, Parts B and C follow. However, Madam Speaker, being one of the 18 districts without a boarding secondary school in the country, the government intends in the long term to construct a boarding secondary school in the Kafulamase area of Kabwe Central Parliamentary constituency. The program is on the district's agenda, and it is among the proposals submitted for consideration in the infrastructure development plan for a 5-year rolling plan running from 2023 to 2028. The district intends to construct a co-education boarding secondary school to respond to the challenges the local people of Kafulamase's area who are going through when sending their children to distant secondary schools. The district has already identified the feeder schools to the proposed boarding secondary school
including Gombe, Katondo, Box, Medichiji, Pima Prison, New Pima Dairy, Nkrumah Extension, Chilaya Community, Kabanga, and the Mwishi Primary Schools. I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Kabwe Central.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Just allow me to give or maybe 3 points or some statistics. Minister, just this year, from grade 1 to grade 7, we had 37 girls falling pregnant. Grade 8 to 9, 87. And grade 10 to 12, we had about 107, a total of 213 just for this year, which is very alarming. Yes, we understand there is the government or there is constraints in terms of funds, but my follow-up question would be, would you be in a position to reassure people of Kabwe Central constituents that come maybe 2025, or that period which you have stipulated, Kabwe Central and Kaframas area will be a priority as we'll be allocating other boarding schools? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Education.
Yes, Madam Speaker, as I said earlier, on a 5-year rolling plan running from 2023 to 2028, I can assure the Member of Parliament that we'll be able to construct a boarding secondary school, especially with those levels of pregnancies for a girl child. In fact, Madam Speaker, had it not been for us to be finishing the projects which were stored, I think that was going to be a priority for the girl child. It is a really painful issue to check on. In fact, there are about 9,984 pupils coming from all these primary schools. So it means that the area requires, and the distances themselves are quite long. So the area requires a boarding secondary school, which I said will be co-education. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no other questions, so we can make progress. Next question, the Honorable Member for Mangango.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Question number 110.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable Ruhamba Mwene, Member of Parliament for Mangango constituency, asked the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security the following questions. A, whether the government has any plans to construct staff houses at Nyango Correctional Service Training School in Kaoma. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. C, if there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, in responding to the questions asked by the Honorable Member of Parliament, I wish to inform the House as follows. A, the government has plans to construct a total of 120 staff housing units comprising 4 high-cost units, 50 medium-cost units, and 66 low-cost housing units at Nyango Correctional Service Training School in Kaoma District. The project will be implemented under Phase 2 housing project for security wings. B, the project will be implemented when government approves Phase 2 housing project for construction of staff houses for security wings and funds are made available. C, the government has plans to construct staff houses at the Nyango Correctional Training School to improve the welfare of the members of staff. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Mangango.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I would wish to ask a follow-up question. When will be the approval for Phase 2 of the housing units?
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, I didn't get the question clearly. Did you say the approval of housing units or the allocation of the funding?
May the Honorable Member repeat the question? Be specific, which approval?
He stated clearly, Madam Speaker, that 120 houses will be constructed in Nyango after the phase 2 approval. When is that one exactly? When is the time that it will be approved?
So the question is, when is phase 2 going to be approved? The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll wait the consideration of the Minister of Finance over the same. I cannot make a firm commitment pertaining to the date.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Luena.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, is it part of your plan that when this phase 2 is rolled out at Nyango, that would also include other police camps in Western Province that have been on the waiting list for the construction of staff houses? Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
The question is specific to Nyango Correctional Service Training School, and asking the Minister to talk about all those other promises. I think we'll be taking him by surprise. So if you are interested, you can put in a separate question. We are now moving very fast. We go to the next question. Oh, well, it's done. We go to the order of the day. The clerk will now read the order of the day.
Supply motion of 29th September 2023, resumption of debate.
Order. When business was interrupted on Friday, 13th October 2023, the House was considering the motion moved by the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning that the House do now resolve into Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024, together with the annual borrowing plan presented to the National Assembly in September 2023, and the Honorable Member from Kaika was debating. May the Honorable Member continue.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this time again to continue my debate. Let me come to the economic growth, Madam Speaker, on page 2 of the budget speech, where the Minister is saying and is proposing to grow the economy by 4.8% in 2024. Madam Speaker, I want to say that there has been little investment in the sectors around. I feel for the economy to grow, Madam Speaker, we need to invest. But looking at the 2 years our colleagues have been in government, there has been very little investment in all the sectors. I expect, Madam Speaker, that in agriculture, we expect a lot of dams to be constructed. We expect, Madam Speaker, to see a lot of irrigation facilities to be taken to rural areas, because I think we heard in here from the Minister of Green Economy that there's El Nino expected. That means less rains. So we need to focus to focus our channel or our effort to that direction, where we need to put up irrigations to our farmers so that we don't compromise the food security. Madam Speaker, the PF government invested a lot. Madam Speaker,
Honorable
the PF
members,
government
let's allow the honorable member to debate.
invested a lot in the infrastructure. They built a lot of roads. They built a lot of hospitals, bridges, to mention a few. So we expect you, Madam Speaker, that even in the tourism where you...
Honorable member for Mukush, today keep on contravening and breaching. Now you are debating while seated. Why didn't you have the opportunity to debate? So you indicate and you'll be given that opportunity. Do not interrupt the honorable member from Kaika, who is debating so well. May the honorable member from Kaika continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, Minister of Finance, I'm saying ever since the UPND government came into power, we have not seen any of the investments that will trigger this growth. That growth is good, but we need a lot of investment in all the areas. In tourism, let us construct a lot of roads in these tourist attraction areas. The talk of Kafue National Park, talk of a lot of national parks dotted around. We need investment.
Order, honorable members, let's maintain order. Let's maintain order before you are asked to debate outside.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I think those who keep a lot of dairy animals, you need to give that animal a lot of food for you to get a lot of milk. So that is the same as to invest. So this 4.8%, Madam Speaker, I want to say that the minister should put a lot of investment so that we do a lot of expect this 4.8%. Madam Speaker, let me come to health, Madam Speaker. I think the budget has allocated a huge sums of money to the drugs. But just like the honorable member for Nakonde, who raised a matter of urgent public importance, Madam Speaker, I want to say that we have focused and left out a lot of important issues. Issues like equipments in hospitals, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I visited St. Francis Hospital where these equipments are very, very old, such that they need to be replaced. And such is an area where we need the Minister of Health to look into. We can't manage, Madam Speaker, this time around to be transferring patients from Chipata, from Katete to Lusaka. Huh? We need equipments in these hospitals, Madam Speaker. Yeah. Even at UTH, I was once there when I was referred to Mainasoko because the CT scan that time around was not working. Yeah. So I don't know where we are focusing really. Indeed, we have a lot of challenges, but surely things like CT scans in hospitals, we need at least to procure these things. So I don't know whether it is to add to the funding to the Ministry of Finance, or maybe to just look around the already allocated monies that we can make sure we need to procure these things. Gone are the days where we should be transferring patients all the way from Katete to UTH. Surely, I feel if the budget is not enough, let us prioritize. Let us allocate a lot of monies to this sector so that these things are procured in hospitals. Madam Speaker, I want also to talk of the monies.
Order, Honorable Member, your time is up. I just wanted to be clear. You said that we should fund more the Ministry of Finance. You meant, okay, so you meant the Ministry of Health. Okay, thank you. We go to the next, the Honorable Member for Solwezi West.
I thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, from the onset, I want to state clearly that the people of Karumbira district do support this budget presentation. Madam Speaker, I must also state here that I'm a very proud member of Parliament, associated with men and women of honor. On your right side, Madam Speaker, if you look at Honorable Msokotwani, I know we don't debate ourselves. Surely you can see the wisdom in such people.
Order. We don't want to embarrass our honorable members. Please debate the budget.
Surely, Madam Speaker, I take your counsel. Madam Speaker, I'm so proud to be part of this team here. And I remember when the president was here, I think some weeks back, to come and present to us, setting the tone for 2024. The president in his speech was very instructional. The president in his speech was trying to give policy directives for 2024. Thereafter, we saw the Minister for Finance also come here to address members of Parliament. Purely the Minister of Finance was now giving on how we are going to implement what the President had guided. This simply means that the two offices are working together. Madam Speaker, that is how surely smart people must work. Madam Speaker, sometimes we do listen to our colleagues.
Order, honorable members, let's debate the budget speech. Don't engage the people who are on the floor, who are breaching our standing orders, and they are talking and debating while seated. They just want to distract you. Concentrate on your debate. May you proceed, honorable member.
Madam Speaker, sometimes we sit here and listen to our colleagues on the left side debate. And some of them will be saying this budget speech is very hollow. Surely, if it is, and you are debating, why not debate those things you feel are hollow in the speech? For us in Karumbira, Madam Speaker, we are seeing positives, all positives in this particular presentation. Number one, Karumbira itself is a creation of exploration. Chirawombwe was a creation of exploration. Even Kabwe, Broken Hill Man, thousands of years ago, was found exploring. And today we say, that is horror. What is horror about that? We need to provide more resources.
Honorable member Fonkana, please. I'm watching you from here. Please desist from debating while you are seated. When you had an opportunity to debate, other honorable members were listening to you. Allow the honorable member also to debate. Listen to him. If you have a point and you have debated, give it to your friend to raise it when the time comes for that member to debate. Honorable Member from Kana, please.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was saying, Chirawombwe, Kabwe, Kitwe, and many towns, Mfrida, are a creation of exploration. It's only through exploration that we are going to know what is hidden beneath the soils in our republic. People here are discussing Sujilite. How do you go in and invest into mining Sujilite when you don't even know what is there, in what quantities? Therefore, we need resources so that we understand what is lying in Chavuma. So the Chavuma must have diamonds. We must do exploration in order to know what is there in Rumezi, gold. There in Impika, gold. So, Madam Speaker, for us, that is not horror, that is a positive. Madam Speaker, we recently signed PPPs, triple Ps, in Karumbira. We are going to build a modern town using PPP in Karumbira. What is horror about that? Surely for us, that is a positive. Madam Speaker, I remember Honorable Member for Kanchibia was here. He brought a motion on councillors' pay rise. We all agreed that councillors must be well remunerated. Today, someone says that is horror. When we are all saying councillors must be well paid, Madam Speaker, for us in Karumbira, that is a positive. Madam Karumbira, expansion of dams. Sorry, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, for us in Karumbira, sorry about that, Madam Speaker. For us in Karumbira, Madam Speaker, we have enough fresh waters. We have big rivers. And the minister, in his speech, wants to allocate more resources to creating more dams so that we can even begin to grow winter maize. We are complaining. We should also harvest water. We must ensure that we promote winter maize so that we don't run out of food come June, July, and August, somewhere there. Madam Speaker, the reopening of KCM. Sorry, should we continue mining from the courts? You can't. You have to go and mine right where the resources are. And that is within Kitwe, Mupani, Kitwe, Chingona, and the other district in Frida. Surely, what is horror about that? What is horror about that? We need to mine so that our contractors can be able to make also a living out of that. Madam Speaker, procurement of medicines, surely, to save lives. And someone says that is horror. Procurement of vaccines to save our livestock. And someone says that is horror. I have never come across a member of parliament who doesn't eat beef, who doesn't eat chicken, who doesn't eat pork. They're all vegetarians. Therefore, we need to procure more vaccines to save livestock. And that's also a business for others. Employment of teachers, employment of health personnel. How can you say that is horror? Colleagues, if a member of parliament does not need teachers, let him state so to the Minister of Education. And we see if you are going to survive back. Because your people there will know that you do not want teachers in your area. Madam Speaker, we all need teachers and we all need this because we have a deficit in our district. Madam Speaker, CDF.
Honorable Member from Pika, please, I'm warning you. Next time you find yourself outside. I've been watching you. You are just finding a time when to jet in and debate while you are seated. You know that that is not allowed. May the Honorable Member continue.
I thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, pay as you earn threshold has been increased to 5,100, meaning all those that get below 5,100 will not pay taxes or pay as you earn. Surely, is that hollow? CDF, from 28 to 30, surely, is that not a positive change? Is that hollow? Madam Speaker, we can go on and on. And that's why I said, for us, us in Karumbira, we support this budget in its entire form. When people do ask us, what did the PF do when they were in power? What did they do? We saw a lot of people with going for the gym.
Order, your time is up. The Honorable Member for Chasefu.
Thanks so much, Madam Speaker, for once again giving the good people of Chasefu
Sorry,
an
order.
opportunity.
Who said Mushana Bwali? Honorable Member from Pika. Yeah, I heard somebody saying Mushanina Bwali. Didn't I warn you that you are not Honorable Member from Pika, you can go and be outside for today. You may leave the chamber. May the Honorable Member for Chasefu continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm a seasoned leader. I understand the frustration of where some of these people are. So I don't get distracted, Madam Speaker. I'm here to represent the good people of Chasefu. I'll start with page 43 of the budget, the last paragraph by the Minister of Finance, talking about the increment of CDF from 28.3 million to 30.6 million, Madam Speaker. Why have I started with that last paragraph? To me, it demonstrates the vision of the government to develop this country without leaving any part, like it used to be. Chasefu now will have 30.6 million for development. And that's why I'm sitting here to represent the good people. So I saw that this is a visionary leadership who want to ensure that when we visit countries like Botswana, we are able to benchmark, to see a village, to see a town developed because of the resources being taken to the people closer to where they are. Madam Speaker, to me, I was very happy. And I see this budget a very progressive budget. Madam Speaker, CDF itself, look at what it has done. I don't want to emphasize every time. But today, I want to talk about the story which is on page 25 of the budget, where the Minister of Finance was confirming having received a report on the corruption assessment that December. Now, to me, what comes to me is that for us to develop this country, we must deal decisively with corruption. Madam Speaker, we are talking about very scarce resources. There will never be enough. And here we are talking about CDF, part of it not being received, which is very true. How do we ensure that this country has resources every day flowing to where it's supposed to be utilized? Is by keeping down corruption. We have to deal with corruption decisively. Every time the president talks about corruption, he is attacked. Even here, when I start talking about corruption, people start shivering or maybe very uncomfortable. Madam Speaker, there is no way a country or a community can develop when corruption is thriving. It should not just end with the report that he received. What are we doing to ensure the Minister of Finance is assisted so that the monies that we lost, instead of doing the Rundazi Chama road, because of corruption, the money should be saved so that that road is done. The same corruption affected the first boarding school in Chasefu, which was not done because of the same corruption. Up to now, the housing, the property is at 80%. I believe the president, and I want to quote, permit me, when he said, for me to develop all the constituencies, to give them monies, I should get the money from the center where the big thieves are. Pardon me for that, but I always follow him very well. He has taken the money from the center, taken to the periphery, which is Chasefu and other constituencies, and we are appreciating it. Everyone here is seeing what this money is doing. but pardon those who thought that they are in the urbanized, and this is where they deserve than the people of Chasefu, and they were receiving money. They will tell you that CDF is not working. It is like, Madam Speaker, when you get water from a tap, in a cup, you go and pour in Zambezi River, and you expect to see the level rise, and you'll be watching. People mistake you for having a problem. But when you get water from Zambezi River in a cup, you go and pour on a dry surface, like Chasefu. We are appreciating what this government is doing. So many of us who are genuine, we should speak the truth about a progressive government like the one which is there, because it is taking development to all parts of the country. And when I sit here, I'm not ashamed, I'm proud to associate with a progressive government, a progressive budget that is bringing money to where it never used to go. Madam Speaker, thanks so much, my brother Banda. Madam Speaker, I'll come back to corruption. For us to deal with this corruption, which has left the central, which is Lusaka, those people have followed corruption, they have taken corruption to the constituencies. And I have a report, Madam Speaker, I've reported several people who are now supplying a fisher board at 1,050 kwacha. I wrote a report. These things are happening. So when we want to assist the president and this minister so that these resources can bear fruit in Chasefu, we must ensure that the corruption that was here in Lusaka, these people have followed in the constituencies. They are there. When you say, let's give the local contractors, they will say the local contractors have no capacity. They come from here conniving with those procurement officers. That's why I agree with the minister. Let us review these procurement processes. Bino, are you listening? Madam Speaker, these are realities that if we were to develop, let us ensure that there is corruption is fought. Those who stole should be the starting point. Madam Speaker, I always say Muntu Amangiwe is not a joke. I hate, I detest corruption. If there are those who conducted themselves in a different manner, they should be the starting point.
Muntu Amangiwe meaning?
Someone who should be arrested. Madam Speaker, it is only those who are guilty who are feeling uncomfortable when I say so. If you did not do anything, why are you shouting or murmuring? For us to deter those who are indulging in corruption now in the CDF, let us start with those who did something wrong. And many times, Madam Speaker, the culprits are politicians ourselves. This country is destroyed by politicians. When an ordinary person indulges in corruption, he is punished. When a politician indulges in corruption, people even escort them for solidarity. Solidarity for thieves. Madam Speaker, I beg to sit. This is a very progressive budget which is supported and a progressive government. Chasefu is very happy things are happening. I submit.
Thank you. I'm sure with that kind of debate, we can't see anybody dozing today. Let's make progress. Let's avoid debating while we are seated. The Honorable Member for Kasama. Sorry, before you come in. There was an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member for Solwezi East. What's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My point of order is pursuant to our standing order number 65 on the member who debated before the Member of Parliament for Chasefu, Honorable Mukumbi, who comes from one of the richest councils, Kalumbila there, forgetting about to mention Kasensele mine, Kalengwa mine, which also needs to be resolved so that people from Northwestern can actually find jobs. However, Madam Speaker, my main point of order is he forgot to mention that just yesterday, members of parliament from the Committee on Health were witnessing at Zamsa the receiving of the bulk supply of medicine that have been purchased by the government of the Republic of Zambia from Egypt. And we witnessed that. It was in order to forget to mention that there will be no more unnecessary prescriptions from hospitals to our people because we have all the medicine. Now at over 90% availability of drugs in hospitals. Was in order, Madam Speaker.
Order. The Honorable Member for Solwezi East is now debating, having a second bite at the cherry. The Honorable Member for Solwezi, was it Solwezi? Solwezi West, he was in order. He was debating what came to his mind, what if. So if he forgot, maybe you can send those notes to another Honorable Member who can debate such. May the Honorable Member for Kasama continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to add a voice on behalf of the people of Kasama. Madam Speaker, I'll begin by stating, to whom much is given, much is required. We all sitting here, first we started off at 26 million, we moved to 28, we're currently at 30.6 million, which is an increase of 2.3 million, Madam Speaker. If we take 30.6 million, remove 5% for disaster, that is 1.5 million. 5% for admin, that is also another 1.5 million. Madam Speaker, skills development, bursaries, and empowerment funds is 40%, which amounts to 12 million kwacha, leaving 15.3 million, which is 50%, mostly for infrastructure development. Madam Speaker, as I stated earlier, to whom much is given, much is desired. The song for every day, for each and every one of us, is CDF, CDF. What are we doing? Madam Speaker, I wish to say the funds are still not enough. I feel the resource envelope for CDF can even go further. Let us not forget that in the same 15 million, we have a priority on education and health. We have free education. We still need to improve on the number of classrooms that are available. We still have certain schools that only have a 1/3, with learners ranging from grade 1 to grade 9. So, Madam Speaker, CDF in this case becomes Classroom Development Fund because we need to provide for these classrooms. Madam Speaker, we may provide the classrooms, we need desks. That is also another very, very heavy expense. Madam Speaker, we have Rural Electrification Authority pool, we have vehicles to purchase, we also have equipment, we have feeder roads that are in dire need, and we work once again on any other directives that may come through. Madam Speaker, the funds do not add up and the funds are not enough. Currently, the government is not, if I look at Kasama Central, for instance, I did not see any other allocation apart from the 30.6. There will be no capital development from the central government. So for one whole year, 2024, I am stuck with 30.6. My furthest point, Madam Speaker, in the constituency is 110 kilometers. Hypothetically, that is from Lusaka, where we sit here, all the way up to Chivombo. Madam Speaker, if you compare the size of constituencies in Lusaka, Copperbelt, you cannot match up to some of these constituencies. In actual fact, there needed to be an amount allocated for delimitation, Madam Speaker, because some of these funds are more like a drop in the ocean. Imagine putting up even a health post 110 kilometers. How many people will know apart from those that are in that area? Hence we get the question, what is the Member of Parliament doing? They are not seeing anything because some of our constituencies are very vast. Leaving 15 million for, uh, for development, Madam Speaker, is way below par. Madam Speaker, there is also need to have a balance of equality as well as equity. There needs to be the baseline level of funding for all constituencies, and then additional resources should be allocated based on specific needs and challenges. Challenges are plenty, Madam Speaker. I looked through and through the budget speech, looking out for roads, hoping that only the Great North Road would be one of the roads that would be considered. But, Madam Speaker, to no avail. Yes, the budget speech may have been concluded, but I'm still appealing to the minister by any means, come what may. The road, the Great North Road, needs to be looked into because it's also the gateway to East Africa. We should see how many trucks are on that road. If possible, try and converting it into a dual carriageway. Madam Speaker, I stand here very grateful that Kasama has an airport. But yet again, why are we not commissioning the airport? Once we have infrastructure ready, it needs to be commissioned so that it's utilized as soon as possible. Funds have gone into there, but right now, there's no flights that are flying into Kasama. Madam Speaker, there is industrial parks in Kasama as well, but then the industrial parks are not also fully utilized. Once any infrastructure is finally done with, commissioning is very possible so that we can have the full utilization. Going to the industrial park is a sorry sight. We have a few hammer mills, I think a mechanic operating in there, which I think we can do better. In this case, Madam Speaker, we needed also a stimulus package for SMEs operating in these industrial parks. Yes, we do have CEEC. We've also got money from CDF itself, but it's not enough. If you look at last year, money from the ministry, money from CEEC was all oversubscribed. People are still waiting. It's not too long ago that we suffered COVID, Madam Speaker. There has really been setback for most companies. Others have had to wind up. Madam Speaker, the government needed to look into a stimulus package separate from CEC, separate from CDF, just a special stimulus package as to have those businesses that went under to pick up. Because through these businesses, Madam Speaker, the private sector would also help the government in employing more. In fact, the private sector will actually do so much better in alleviating most of the poverty that is going on, especially youth unemployment. Private sector would be able to come through to try and assist. Madam Speaker, lastly, I also wish to say our budget is more or less hand to mouth. As a country, we need to look into ways to increase our resource envelope. Madam Speaker, let's not have a budget that, the ins and the outs and the waiting grants. We need to provide for our own finances through our own taxes, our own resources, and we also have some left over. Not year in, year out, Madam Speaker. We are on a hand-to-mouth basis. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I wish to thank you for the opportunity as I represent the people of Kasama. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shangombo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to add my voice on the debate on the floor. Madam Speaker, I want to join my colleagues, those who are able to appreciate what this government is doing and has done in the past 2 years. Just on the CDF, Madam Speaker, representing a rural constituency like Shangombo, we have now procured road equipment, and starting next year, we are doing feeder roads. Under CDF, Madam Speaker, we have built about 18 1-by-3 classroom blocks. We have built about 6 health centers. This is what is happening within 2 years. And with the 30.6 coming next year, 2024, a lot has been lined up to be done in Shangombo. Of course, we usually make headlines of hunger, but I think in the next 2-3 years, we are also going to ensure that each ward has a cooperative farms where we are going to have at least irrigation so that we stop troubling our the Vice President. Because even now, I'm still going to appeal to her to ensure that she sends more food. But with this enhanced CDF, we are going to invest in agriculture. Madam Speaker, I grew up in this house. I've been here under the MMD. Of course, in politics, Honorable Mpombo once said, George Mpombo once said, when a political party loses election, it suffers from political brouhaha. Political brouhaha, Madam Speaker, is a disease of failing to come to terms with reality. So that disease attacked us in 2011. I used to sit there, then we were knocked, we went there. Thank God after 10 years we are back. So I know how it feels to lose an election. So we don't expect the people who are still mourning, who are still suffering from political brouhaha, to thank this government. My brother, Honorable Kampiongo, you're my brother. Madam Speaker, my advice is that we should come to terms. Let's give credit where it is due. If we can't say thank you, it's better we keep quiet. I was disappointed last week when I was seeing my colleagues not able to acknowledge what this government has done. I usually see colleagues, even on your left, Madam Speaker, thanking this government on TV, handing over projects in their constituents, handing over grants, loans, equipment. But when they come here, they are saying this budget is nothing. CDF is a scam. But this CDF is a game changer. And I know what I'm talking about. I've listened to so many budget speeches in this house. But from 2021, 2023, I think with what we are getting as people of Shangombo, it will be difficult for whoever is planning to destroy this government. This government is there to stay because of this CDF. Madam Speaker, I just want to maybe advise my government on some issues concerning recruitments. It is important that each constituency at least is apportioned a number. Because just last month when there was a pass out in Mangango, only one was employed from Shangombo, which is not right. So please, Minister of Education, Minister of Home Affairs, Defense, ensure that each constituency is given a number so that whether it's defense, we have a national defense. If it's police, we have a national police. Because if you just leave it the way it is, it will be difficult for places like Shangombo, Kaputa, to have people employed. We have done good so far with the recruitments, but please, my plea is to ensure that each constituency is allocated a number without looking at a region. Madam Speaker, Western Province, Shangombo's Congo there is a gateway to Angola. We are crying with high prices of fuel. I'm sure if the road is done, of course PPP with Angola will be having cheaper fuel coming from Angola. Madam Speaker, this government is a proper government, as it has been seen in the way the national cake is being shared. Madam Speaker, I've seen my fellow members of parliament talking about high meal meal prices, the exchange rate. But when we handed over government in 2011 to the PF, how much was the cost of meal meal to how you left it? What was the exchange rate in 2011? We were there. In 2011, 100 kwacha were able to buy 3 bags of meal meal, cooking oil, in 100 kwacha. But by the time the PF left in 2011, 2021, I mean, I beg your pardon, you know the exchange rate where it was. From 4 kwacha, left at 22 kwacha US dollar. The pound was at 32 kwacha. Yes. So even when you are condemning, even when you are busy condemning, please come out of this political brouhaha, because it's not taking you anywhere. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, the new Dawn government means well. My colleagues, we've been together to Livingstone Shungu Primary School. We were in the same class. He knows, even when he said that's just politics, but the new Dawn government means well for everyone. Everyone here is very happy with this CDF. Madam Speaker, with these few words, I say thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Lunte, please take your seat. You'll be recognized. I know what I'm doing. I was allowing the Honorable Member to finish his debate so that we have a flow. But there was an indication from Honorable Member for Shiwangandu for a point of order. What's the point of order, Honorable Member?
Madam Speaker, I was trying to follow the Honorable Member for Shangombo in his discourse. Until he started referring to us. The budget is very clear. I don't know where the budget was talking about MMD losing elections, PF losing elections, and the cost of living, which was using as a measure, when he's supposed to be talking about the cost of meal now in Shangombo, where he's coming from, Madam Speaker. Was it in order, Madam Speaker, to veer off from the budget speech and start debating us? And he was using language which he couldn't interpret, which only he knows. Was it in order, Madam Speaker, to debate in that manner without bearing in mind the Standing Order 65, 1B? I seek your serious guidance.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shangombo, if I was following even the debate that the other Honorable Members were doing, there was reference to the cost of living having been high from the left. So now the right, through the Honorable Member for Shangombo, is trying to rebut that perception that the cost of living just happened now. That's what I was understanding myself from what I was following. As for that word, which I cannot even pronounce myself, I think it's an invention between him and the Honorable Mpombo. You know he likes using very big words. Honorable Member for Nakonde, you wanted to raise a point of order. What's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, it has been already raised. Is that what I wanted?
Thank you. Honorable Member for Lunte, you came in a bit late. Immediately you came, you were rising on a point of order. What's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, when we were singing the national anthem, I was here, and I've been here throughout. That's when.
No, I mean just now. You had gone out maybe for a cup of coffee or something stronger than coffee.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was just concerned that my honorable colleague, who we went to the same class with in primary school, could bring me in his debate. Madam Speaker, was my honorable colleague in order to bring me in his debate, which debate was not even addressing the budget speech, but it was addressing issues which are far away from the budget speech. Was it in order to bring me, when I just sat here attentively listening, and he decided to engage me in that fashion? I think you're serious ruling, Madam Speaker. And this point of order, of course, is based on precedents which have occurred on this floor of the House. You pick a member who is innocent as I was, you draw them in the debate. Madam Speaker, I seek your serious ruling on the matter.
I have nothing further to add. Those are the new answers. So the honorable member, I think, was just referring to you. You know, remembering the olden days when you used to be in the same class. Maybe that's why, especially when you came in and you kept on standing, so you remembered what you used to do when you were in the same class. So I'm sure you can settle that outside as you go and have your tea. Can we make progress? The honorable member for Kantanshi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And the people of Kantanshi would like to add a voice to this budget. It's quite a very difficult budget. My focus will be mostly around the revenue streams, because every budget needs to be financed. Now, if you don't have the revenue streams to finance it, how are you going to execute the budget? So, I mean, for me, the most important thing is that the government has realized that, number one, the current GDP we have of 2.7% is too low to even create any jobs. Our productivity is low, especially in the mining sector and the agriculture sector, which are the two pillars that have come predominantly out as areas where revenue will come from. And also, Madam Speaker, unemployment is high, the cost of living is high, and this is why I'm stating here that at least the government has realized the scale of the challenges it faces for it to provide the services that the people of Zambia will be looking for. However, I wanted to draw the minister's attention to a few areas, because if you're going to unlock this economy, you will certainly have to make very radical decisions. I don't support one of the decisions that has been made, for example, on the charging of one ungwe, or whether it's 8 cents, whatever that government has proposed, because when I looked at the people that have been targeted, Madam Speaker, it's those people that were out of the bracket of the banking sector. These are the people that are unemployed. These are the people that earn the lowest in our economy. But they are the ones that form the grassroots, and they are the ones that put us in offices. They are the ones that vote for us. So whilst that is a good innovation from ZRA, I think that ZRA should have provided a better proposal to the government. And I would like to take the government to an area which even the president announced, and that is to formalize artisanal mining. Now, ZRA is on record to have said they've got about 500 artisanal mining companies that are available for taxation, of course taxed at the same level as the big mines, okay? But these mines have not been able to be productive simply because they don't have capital. So one of the areas that I'm proposing to the Minister of Finance is that $160 million, $8 million you want to give Minister of Mines to go and do mapping. You should allow ZCMIH to continuously be mapping this country, and it's got the capacity to go to the commercial market and borrow money and attract investors by using its place and the IDC and the trade arm of government, which is ZDA. So you separate Minister of Mines from that business. How can it be, for example, we've just been told after Sujilite has been exposed, that's when the Minister of Mines has gone to do the mapping. That doesn't attract investors in any way. But if we look right now, those 500 artisanal mines, if they were commercially supported by government through a partnership, such as the same way we have been dishing out money to the so-called empowerment programs the recent report from the Auditor General was showing us that Ministry of Youth and Sports, out of 29 million it gave out, only 3 million has been collected. So that should clearly show that, we are not spending this money prudently. Yes, we do have the appetite to support the youths, but we must also look at other avenues that will support the general being of our economy. So I would like the Minister of Finance to go back and relook at how these artisanal mines can be supported, because these have the potential, Madam Speaker, of creating the thousands of jobs that we have seen in the mining sector. Even under the credit guarantee scheme, which the minister has proposed to add another 300 million, when the current 150 million has only consumed 21 million. So this is again money that is sitting idle. Or why doesn't the credit scheme tilt itself towards supporting these artisanal mines, so that we can start to see that mineral royalty contribution, Madam Speaker, is at number 5 in terms of the revenue collection for our country. It's supposed to be number 1 and produce so much relief to us, the citizens, especially now that the cost of living is high, unemployment is high, that these minerals that God gave us are working for us. So if we are truly going to unlock our potential as an economy, we really need to move away from the traditional ways of pay-as-you-earn, traditional ways of withholding tax, to areas that will really indicate that this radical way of thinking is going to lead us into unlocking our potential. If you look at 300 million or so, which was proposed for 4,500 nurses, this country has got nurses, teachers, architects, civil engineers, chemical engineers, where I'm coming from, Muflira, mining engineers. What about them? So it means for the last 2 years, these fellas, they don't have anywhere to go. They are not recognized in the economy. It takes me back to apprenticeship programs, Madam Speaker, and these are the ones that can go into these artisanal mines and even other areas in our economy that are looking for jobs. But unfortunately, because of the cost of living, the cost of production is high, these companies are not employed. So the government has an opportunity, but it has to become a little bit more radical. Even when we look at the phasing out of the FISIP program, look at how much debt we have created under the so-called umbrella of creating food security. If you check in the banks, the instruments that they are holding, in terms of the debt that we have through purchases of fertilizer, for example, it is alarming. How do you have debt? How do you have food security and create a debt for your country? I think these are areas that require careful thinking and re-examining so that our economy really starts to change. The 4.8% being proposed for next year, if we look at the fundamentals right now, if we still look at the slowness that is happening in the mining sector, we have already heard the impasse that has taken place at KCM, where the main contractor there has, is pulling out. And then, of course, the mines minister has told us that everything will be restored when KCM comes. Again, today we read in the morning that, the final agreement has not been signed. All these are areas that are creating concern on the copper belt, Madam Speaker. And therefore, it's becoming difficult to see whether really mining should just be focused on KCM and Mupane. And no wonder I'm saying, can we move to these 500 artisanal mines? We build them so that they are the ones that should take over the future. These mines that we are depending on, Madam Speaker, have never paid any dividends whatsoever. If you look at the mine that was recently NFC, which has pledged 1.3 billion, 25 years of production in Zambia, not even one dividend. I'll end there, Madam Speaker, but I support the budget, and I urge the Minister of Finance to go back and relook at some of the areas. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Gwembe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Gwembe this opportunity to add their voice on this very beautiful budget. Madam Speaker.
Order. As the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
Good afternoon. Would like to thank you for your viewership. On the floor of the House, just about to debate the supply motion was Gwembe MP, Mr. Sibuzingiri. This is the supply motion that was moved by the Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stuleko Musokotwane, that the House to now resolve into Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024, together with the annual borrowing plan presented to the National Assembly in September 2023.
And the House has so far considered 5 questions understanding, for oral questions, the House has so far considered 5 questions understanding Order 74. And when business resumed this afternoon, Claudette, Madam Speaker, did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils as well as teachers from Chateau Private School and Little Stars Pre and Primary School, Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly, did warmly welcome the visitors to the National Assembly.
Honorable Dr. Ron Mwanza is an area member of parliament for Kaumbwe constituency. Was born and bred in Kaumbwe constituency at village Mwanjavantu, and did his primary school at Mwanjavantu Primary School, went to secondary school at Chasa Boys, and then went to the University of Zambia. He did civil engineering. I did so well at UNZA, and I was retained as a lecturer in civil engineering. And then I went for master degree in China. I did in the in the same field of civil engineering. So after completing my master degree in China, I came back, taught at the University of Zambia again, and then I went for my PhD again to China in the same field of civil engineering. My expertise are in roads and railway engineering. And then I completed my PhD in 2012. After completing my PhD in 2012, I was employed by China Railways in China, and I've had a lot of international exposure in highway and road development projects that have been like government to government, China and African governments, and also European, some South American countries, also to say developing nations. I have 26 years of experience in this field, and on the local front, I participated in the designs for the greatest road from Luangwa Bridge up to Mwami border, Mongu Senanga Road. Talk about Road T2 from Kapiri to Serenje. Also, so many road projects in the country, as well as railway projects. Railway projects on the railway front. On the railway front, whilst working in China with China Railways, I spearheaded the project to have a line connected from Eastern Province to connect to Tazara. We did feasibility study, and government had a bankable document which is still there. Apparently, just due to fiscal space, the project hasn't taken place. But I'm sure we should be able to do the project soon. I'm married, and my children, I've got 2 children. They are in China. Kaumbwe constituency, you know, has a population of 60,000 people. Kaumbwe constituency is bordering Mozambique, and in terms of other constituencies, it is bordering Kapoche constituency and the Petauke Central. Kaumbwe constituency is the least developed constituency in Zambia. Zambia has 156 constituencies. Now we are the least developed constituency in the country. This is on record. It is written in the what they call economic outlook index for using the multidimensional index, meaning to check the poverty levels. You know, they look at how many people are employed in the Kambwe constituency, are there industries, and so on. So we fall at, imagine we're falling at 94% poverty levels. Well, but the people are happy. We are happy people. It is a place, it is a sweet place. We like to enjoy our traditional ceremonies and so on and so forth. So you find that Kaumbwe is a place also that is very hospitable. There is hospitality. Kaumbwe constituency has no industry. There is no source of any job. The only source of income is farming. Our land has become infertile. We have to depend on agricultural subsidies like FISIP programs. And these FISIP programs, they are not even enough. Also, the distribution is very erratic. Right now, I'm so much worried about the hunger. The situation has become like this simply because the last season, the farming production was very low due to, okay, of course, due to climatic factors, as well as the late delivery of inputs. Now, it seems that problem is going to repeat itself this season, because up to now, not even a single bag of fertilizer has been delivered to the constituency. Well, these are just some of the current issues. But to describe better about the constituency, the challenges as they are outlined in the in the national survey that was conducted, you find that education, we have no government boarding secondary school, the whole constituency, not even one. We do not have a referral hospital. A referral hospital is only in Petauke, which the furthest part from Chizanda is about 60 kilometers. Now imagine you are sick in Chizanda. The referral hospital is so many kilometers away. The few clinics that are in the constituency does not provide the desirable health care that we want. Look at the roads. The roads, thank God that the previous government embarked on the OPRC project. Right now we cannot complain on the roads part. But the major issues that we are looking at is water supply also. We need to improve the water supply by sinking boreholes across the constituency. The development agenda, first of all, I'm looking at improving the livelihood of the people by, first of all, providing education, which is education is an equalizer. We need to provide education, and so we're going to provide education by upgrading at least 4 day secondary schools to full-time government boarding secondary schools, namely Manjawantu Primary School, Manjawantu Day Secondary School, Lusinde Day Secondary School, Ngombeni Matole Secondary School, and Zumaire. These, they are in plan that we upgrade them to full-time, fully fledged government boarding secondary school. Why this step? It's because they will realize the benefits from government in terms of government bursaries. Right now, government has given us 40% of the CDF to be used on government bursaries to support students, and yet in my constituency I can only afford 70 students. So from that money, from more than 1.2 million kwacha, only 200,000 kwacha is going to be used for bursaries. That is education. That is the first division. Then the second one, we are going to, of course these things will be happening simultaneously. I'm looking forward I'm looking forward to a Kaumbe constituency that should have an industry, some small industries, some small industries such that the people can find jobs there. Look now, we are going to be giving loans through the CDF. These loans, people are supposed to open businesses. Now, to open businesses, there's need to have a very good environment, such as electricity, to provide power, electricity and water. So people can open welding shops, and they are able to rear some chickens, and there should be electricity, even to keep pigs and so on. And we form a small national meeting, like national meeting in Lusaka here. It should have everything there. You take your maize, so there'll be some silos where, so there'll be all the functions of a small FRA and also national meeting, where so these 5 plants, put them together to increase the production capacity, and then you have storage sheds for raw maize, also storage sheds for to dispatch the maize to distribute to production consumption centers like secondary schools, police, and so on and so forth, also to choppies and the rest. So in that way, there'll be a lot of people that can get jobs in those areas. And also, I'm looking at least have one skills training college, because it is very expensive to send somebody from Kaumbwe to come and study at Lusaka trades in these days of hardships due to the hardships of the economy. So we are trying to look at upgrading one of the secondary schools, which is we are earmarking Zumaire, which is at the center. We try to now through the CDF we'll make it to be a fully fledged government secondary school. Then later we will now put a skills training college. This skills training college is going to be unique in the sense that the people that are supposed to be to receive training in that place are not supposed to have the criteria is not supposed to be like to look at somebody who got 6 points or 17 points or whatever. As long as you can speak Chinsenga or you can write a little bit, we'll have skills like catering. Catering, I don't need somebody who has a certificate in grade 9, so we'll be offering courses that are practical department and also academic. Practical, for those to be enrolled in the practical section, they just need we just need to tap their talent. They will not have written exams. All they would be doing is just to go for practicals. Like people to learn mechanics, there's no need to teach them about the combustion system of the car, but there will be a model of a vehicle, a model of an engine, and the teacher would dismantle that engine and teach them, assemble. After assembling, then they will. So this is the vision. I want to appeal to the people of Kaumbwe constituency to be a little bit patient, because government is still finding modalities on how best to utilize these monies. The good news is that the money is not going to be recorded at the end of a fiscal year. So it means that we are able to plan and construct and implement all the projects at our own time. Now I'm just urging for a little bit of patience. The good news is that the projects for last year, the projects that in the previous government, the 1.6 million kwacha projects, they are going to start. They will start implementing them next week. All the contractors, they have been given award letters, and next week the school at Kalasau, the contractor will move there. The school at Lusinde, the contractor will move there at Nyawalira and so on and so forth. What I urge also the people of Kaombe constituency, let us be vigilant. All these contractors, please, they need to employ people that are within the locality where the project is taking place.
My full names are Kabaso Kampampi, Member of Parliament for Mwansabombwe constituency. I was born in 1976, 9th May, in Mwansabombwe to be particular. I was raised up in Mwansabombwe. I started my school in Mwansabombwe, grade 1 up to grade 7. From grade 7 I passed to Kawamba Boys, where I did my secondary school from grade 8 up to grade 12. I completed my school in 1995. From there, those years, there used to be this thing of untrained teaching. I had to do UT, so it was called for 2 years. Then from there, I came to Ivry College, where I did my marketing. I'm a marketer by profession, and I'm currently pursuing my CIM, Chartered Institute of Marketing. I'm married with 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. Mwansabombwe, it's a constituency which is about 940 kilometers away from Lusaka. It's a constituency which is about 1,200 square meters. And if we follow the 2010 census, approximately we are looking at 45,000 plus. That's the population of the entire constituency. But for now, probably that has increased to probably 50 something, or if not 60.
You are still watching Parliament TV, the only station that brings Parliament closer to you. And remember, business resumes at 17 hours. After that, at 20 minutes health break. Remember, at the time business was suspended, the House was considering the motion of supply, which was moved by Finance and National Planning Minister, that the House do now resolve into Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024, together with the annual borrowing plan presented to the National Assembly in September 2023. Remember also that at the time business was suspended, debating this particular motion is Mr. Simuzingiri, Gwembe, Member of Parliament. So we expect him to continue debating this motion of supply.
Other members that have debated this particular motion include Mukaika Member of Parliament, Mr. Peter Perry, Solwezi West MP, Mr. Nicholas Mkumbi. We also have Mr. Nyambose, who's Chesefu Member of Parliament. He was followed by Kasama MP, Ms. Mwamba, and Kantanshi MP, Mr. Anthony Mumba, also debated this motion. And like Michael did mentioned, we expect Gwembe MP, Mr. Simuzingiri, to finish off his debate. So that's what is remaining on the order paper in terms of business. Of course, the House did consider 5 questions for oral answer understanding order number 74, and we will give you a brief regarding answers to these particular questions after adjournment.
Just to remind our viewers that when business resumed this afternoon, Madam Speaker did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils as well as teachers from Shatu Private School and Little Stars Pre and Primary School, Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly, so I was saying that I was just trying to remind our viewers that when business resumed this afternoon, Madam Speaker did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils as well as teachers from Shatu Primary School and Little Stars Pre and Primary School, Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, did welcome the visitors to the National Assembly. So right now, bells are ringing, calling on members of Parliament to come in the chamber. Remember, according to the standard practice, there must be 1/3 representation in the House in order for any business to be transacted on the floor of the House.
And so as soon as the quorum is constituted, the business will continue as the House is currently debating the supply motion moved by the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning. And on the floor of the House, just before the break, was Mr. Zimbili Gwembe MP debating this particular motion. So just about now, we interest you to what is happening in the chamber as we await for the resumption of business.
Order. Honorable members, let's improve on time management. When business was suspended, the House was considering the motion moved by the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning that the House do now resolve into the Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024, together with the annual borrowing plan presented to the National Assembly in September 2023, and the Honorable Member for Gwembe was debating. May the Honorable Member continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I will say the people of Gwembe are very happy with this budget, and the reasons are many for being happy. Madam Speaker, this budget is pregnant with policy frameworks, resources, and incentives to unlock the potential of the Zambian economy. Madam Speaker, we need the history in order to shape our future. UPND in opposition, like our colleagues are saying, this budget is hollow. But UPND in opposition, in order to indicate that a budget is hollow, do you know what they were doing? They bring in an alternative budget, alternative policies, alternative incentives. Now, in the absence of any alternative budget, alternative incentive, what is the basis for saying this budget is baseless? The best is to shut up or keep quiet, better still. Madam Speaker, here are the incentives that this intelligent finance has brought on board. By the way, before I forget, you remember last week, it was insala, hunger. Where has that slogan gone, colleagues? That slogan is no longer there. Why? You have a methodical, visionary president who has in few weeks, and he promised, we shall deal with it. Today, all of us, we know the price of mealie meal. We know the price of mealie meal because the methodical government has done its work. It's no longer kadabla, colleagues. It's strategic thinking, strategic planning, then you resolve the issues. And this is what this government has done. Madam Speaker, look at the incentives that this budget is offering. First and foremost, how do you motivate farmers to grow more maize? Is to increase the price. And that price has not only motivated the small-scale farmers, colleagues, it has motivated the commercial farmers because now they've seen value in growing maize. It was discouraging to grow maize and get a pantry price. So everybody, including myself, Madam Speaker, this year I'm increasing the hectarage of maize. Madam Speaker, look at the incentives that are in this budget. The panacea and sustainable way of looking at the maize prices is looking at the farm blocks. Very critical policy framework, pregnant with resources and incentives. This government is giving solutions that are in the farming blocks. They'll do the roads. They'll put power. They'll do the bridges and irrigation. If this is realized, like I've said, this is a panacea for the issues of maize. If these farming blocks are done and operational, we will see a significant increase in the growing of maize. And as such, we will have enough maize, and consequently that will reduce the price of mealie meal. With a reduction in the prices of mealie meal, we will stop calling our friends smugglers. Those are potential buyers of maize. It's a huge market, and we need that market. But why are we calling them smugglers? It's because we do not have enough maize grown in our country. As a member of parliament and a backbencher, we will not only regurgitate what our front bench is saying, we will offer solutions. Part of the solution that I think we can on maize production is to capacitate fully the national service and correctional services. If they are given center pivots, they are given all the resources, they can produce our strategic maize reserves so that the rest we can sell, we get the much needed foreign exchange. Madam Speaker, talking about CDF, the game changer. Madam Speaker, CDF has changed the entire face of Gwembe. We did procure 6 earth-moving equipment. As I'm talking now, Madam Speaker, Gwembe has become a construction site because every single day they are rolling, doing our main road, which is basically an RDA road, a major road. However, my appeal to my Minister of Infrastructure, please next year, since we will do this RDA road, please consider tarring the Gwembe Pepo Road. And one of the best roads that we need to think of is the bottom road. It has been a thorn for many years. We need it. Madam Speaker, Gwembe today, which has never had any facilities for a filling station, anyone say, what is that? For us, in such areas, we have a filling station which is operating in the next 2 weeks. We have banking services that have never been there since independence. Today, the people of Gwembe are saying, who has brought all these I've told them it's a new dawn government. And they are saying, but where was this president? Ali Kui, where was he? I said, God's time is the best. He's here now. And he is changing the development trajectory of Gwembe. It's so nice now to work in Gwembe, colleagues. It used to be a Cinderella district, forgotten by successful government. But the new Dawn government, in 2 years, they've changed the face of Gwembe. Madam Speaker, as I'm talking now, we are distributing 3,000 desks in Gwembe. The president says, no child will sit on the floor. And true to that, we are distributing desks. Madam Speaker, to encourage quality education, we have reduced the pupil-teacher ratio by employing in 2022, 30,000. 2023, 4,500. Come 2024, 4,000.
Order, your time is up. The honorable member for Bahati.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, let me state that I'll focus my debate on a few topical issues contained in this budget speech. And Madam Speaker, before I go any further, let me just put it on record that the Patriotic Front government, when I used to live in Gwembe, constructed an ultra-modern level 1 hospital in Gwembe. So I don't know what the minister is, the member of Parliament for Gwembe is talking about. Madam Speaker, it's there for anyone to see. Previously, there was like a small hospital.
Order, honorable member, please focus on your debate.
Madam Speaker, I just wanted to put it on record and set the record straight that people should also misleading themselves and mislead the nation. Madam Speaker, from the offset, let me state that this budget has so many disadvantages than advantages. Madam Speaker, this budget lacks new and novel ideas. This budget lacks innovation. Madam Speaker, this budget is not speaking to groundbreaking of new policies. Madam Speaker, this budget is not addressing the burning issues that the people of Bahati constituents are facing. Madam Speaker, let me also state that this budget is less likely to bring about any tangible development in Lopla province, even in Bahati constituents. Madam Speaker, this budget is not addressing the price of mealie meal. This budget is not addressing the price of fuel. This budget, Madam Speaker, is not addressing the unstable, fluctuating forex. Madam Speaker, this budget is not addressing business opportunities, especially for SMEs. Madam Speaker, in this budget, you note that the minister has reduced the allocation to SMEs in terms of loans. Madam Speaker, our expectations, Madam Speaker, as people of Bahati constituency, was that we are going to see reduced electricity tariffs. We are going to see reduced electrical connection fees. Madam Speaker, let me give a background to these electrical connection fees. The Minister of Energy earlier stated that is proposing a 50% reduction. Madam Speaker, electricity connection fees have been increased from 760 kwacha to 5,000 for a standard connection. Increased, Madam Speaker, from 2,800 to 15,000 kwacha for a non-standard connection. And Madam Speaker, increased from 6,500 kwacha to 34,000 kwacha for what is known as a group scheme connection. Madam Speaker, people in Bahati constituents can't afford these tariffs. This is too much, Madam Speaker, for any ordinary person. I know even the people of Bauleni in Lusaka who are suffering can't afford these high connection fees, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I say that this budget lacks new ideas because we expected, Madam Speaker, that in the energy sector, the minister was going to, speak to the potential, the hydro power potential that we have on the Luapula River. Madam Speaker, the minister in the energy sector is just proposing that we'll give incentives to independent power producers. But that's not what we need. Madam Speaker, we have a power deficit in this country. And we have a power deficit in the region. Zambia has about 40% of the SADC waters, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we expected that the minister would talk about unlocking the hydro potential on the Luapula River. Madam Speaker, we're grappling with high fuel costs, high minimum costs. Madam Speaker, if we unlock the potential on the Luapula, we'll become the net exporter of electricity in the region. And these are new plans, Minister of Finance, that we can use to improve this economy. Madam Speaker, let me quickly just speak to any mining issues. We'll say less, we don't mine much in Luapula, but we have got swigilite, the mineral which is trending. Madam Speaker, we expected that the minister will make a pronouncement of a policy that would direct the mining and marketing of swigilite. Because, Madam Speaker, as at now, we have left the Chinese or the foreigners to exploit our people who are mining swigilite. So I expected a clear policy from government on how swigilite mining will be conducted. It's not just swigilite, we've got other precious minerals, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, almost 90% of the precious minerals in Zambia are mined illegally. I know the minister is aware. The gold in Zambia, 90% of the gold in Zambia, mined in all the four corners of Zambia, are mined illegally. And you are there seated in not doing anything. Madam Speaker, on page 7 of this budget.
Member for Bahati, please translate in Dwi.
You're seated quietly, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on page 7, paragraph 42 of this debate, the minister indicated that the price of fertilizer has gone down from $1,200 to $875. But, Madam Speaker, the price of fertilizer on the ground is still expensive. Fertilizer in Bahati constituency today, compound D is at 880 kwacha. Urea is at 900 kwacha. So, Madam Speaker, the statement from the minister is far from the truth that the price of fertilizer is going down. Madam Speaker, we urge this government, especially the Minister of Agriculture, to focus on Luapula, because this is where we have lots of rain, we've got good soils, fertile soils, and we've got our hardworking people, Madam Speaker, who can produce to feed this nation. Madam Speaker, I'm aware that there's a cantankerous minister who insulted the people of Luapula. But, Madam Speaker,
Honorable Member, cantankerous.
It's an English word, Madam Speaker.
Yes, but it's not parliamentary. The way you have used
Madam
it.
Speaker, I withdraw.
Can you withdraw it and replace it
I
with
withdraw.
a better word?
And I replace that there is an irresponsible minister who insulted the people of Luapula here on the floor of this house. And the people of Luapula are so bitter, Madam Speaker, that we are being insulted here on the floor of this house.
Honorable Member for Bahati, please don't divide the nation. We are looking at the budget, the national budget. So can you please come back to the budget instead of dividing the people who are not even here? Can you please debate on the budget?
Madam Speaker, much obliged. The people of Luapula will judge that minister. Back to the budget, Madam Speaker. On mining, I was on mining. We are aware that, Madam Speaker, this government, the New Dawn government, has given the mines on the copper belt to a broke mining firm, which is bankrupt, a mining firm called Vendetta. And, Madam Speaker, our people in Luapula province are wondering why this government can give Vedanta
Continue, Honorable Member.
Listening, Madam Speaker, that's good. Is one of those who's handed over our copper to Vedanta. Or is it Vendetta? And, Madam Speaker, the people of Bahati trade with the people of Copper Belt. So if Copper Belt is not active, if there's no copper production in on the Copper Belt province, then our people in Luapula will be affected as well. Because we do a lot of business, Madam Speaker, with the Copper Belt province. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, let me state that we do not support this budget because Madam Speaker's budget has failed lamentably to address the issues that are affecting my people in Bahati constituency. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
I have the following names: the Honorable Member for Kalulushi, Sioma, Kasenengwa, and Mitete. The Honorable Member for Kalulushi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Kalulushi an opportunity to speak into the budget. Madam Speaker, for the first time in the history of Parliament, we had a budget that had a half time. For the first time. And I knew from there, and the people of Kalulushi knew we were in trouble. We were in trouble. Madam Speaker, I'll just tackle a few. We went on tea break. It's never happened before, and that's the trouble. It's one of the warning signs that it had to take the minister a long time to try and convince the Zambian people. And the people of Kalulushi are not convinced.
I think it's not important to talk about how the budget was presented. I'm sure the people of Kalulushi would like to hear more on the content of the budget speech. So please just focus on the content. You may continue.
Well guided, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll just tackle a few issues of great concern, especially to the people of Kalulushi. I'll begin with the issue of CDF, the much proclaimed CDF. Madam Speaker, we are told by the Minister of Finance that there's been an increment of about 2.5 from 28 to almost 30 million. Madam Speaker, the people of Kalulushi seem very worried because just this year, from the last budget, the increment, they've only been allocated about 7 million kwacha. Madam Speaker, we've heard from all corners of this side that the CDF is a game changer. Madam Speaker, this country is in serious problems. This government is a hoax and it needs to be stopped. Madam Speaker,
Honorable Member for Kalulushi, this is a government that was put in place by the people of Zambia. So this is a true government for this Republic of Zambia. Kindly withdraw that word hoax.
Madam Speaker, I withdraw the word hoax. Maybe I should replace it with a government that is very responsible in terms of allocating of... Madam Speaker, I withdraw. Madam Speaker, the issue of the CDF. When the UPND came into government, they brought a budget. And I'm on record, Madam Speaker, as having said this CDF will be a hoax to all of us here. And I know that my colleagues also on the other side do know that this is a hoax. Madam Speaker, CDF under the previous government was 1.6 million. With the 1.6 million allocated under CDF, Madam Speaker, I will speak on my constituency. Madam Speaker, we saw the mushrooming of health posts with equipment, with... Madam Speaker, for the first time under the previous government, we were able to see bituminous standard roads being built. We were able to see boarding schools being built. Madam Speaker, under this CDF, with a huge allocation, the only thing that we can see are classroom blocks. Madam Speaker, if we are not careful, this country will be taken back 10 years. The development, Madam Speaker, I want to be protected. Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, you can take your seats. Order, honorable members. Can we avoid debating while seated? And can we give chance to the honorable member on the floor to focus on her debate? If we've got issues, please can we jot them down? There's still time, we can debate. Just rebut. The honorable ministers will also come in starting from Friday up to Friday next week just to attend to all the issues that are being raised in this house. The honorable member for Karurushi, you may continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The only development that we are seeing today in our constituencies are 1 by 2 classroom blocks. Under the previous regime, Madam Speaker, we saw schools being built, hospitals being built. But today, what we are seeing are just extensions of clinics. And Madam Speaker, under the CDF, the current CDF, the only thing that we're seeing are police posts. Under the previous regime, we saw that, Madam Speaker, police stations were built. Madam Speaker, what we are seeing currently with this government is that all the money from central government is being washed under CDF. We have a government, Madam Speaker, where people that are centered at central government are just in the offices because there's no money. When you ask the ministers, when is the proper piping of water in Karurushi going to be done, they'll say, go and use CDF. How much of that allocation, Madam Speaker? If for a whole year I've only received 7 million kwacha. Madam Speaker, this budget speaks to decentralization. What decentralization? When under CDF, Madam Speaker, in Kalulushi, I'm told how I should use the money. Does decentralization honestly entail central government to dictate how CDF money should be used? Madam Speaker, again, this government is a hoax. Madam Speaker, I'll go to...
Order, honorable member. I think we've already ruled about this government being a hoax. The honorable member, let's not go back to what has already been ruled. I'm going to allow a point of order because people keep on interjecting. I'll take one this side. The last one will be from this side. The honorable member for, now there was Mwinirunga, Honorable Mufalari. The honorable member for Mwinirunga, what is your point of order?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I don't usually stand on points of orders, but this particular one, I'm motivated, I'm compelled to ask a point of order. I'm seated here quietly, Madam Speaker. Quietly. Following my honorable dear friend from Karurushi. And all I hear from her is misleading the House and misleading the entire nation. The point of giving the constituency development fund to constituencies is that the local people themselves should decide on what they should do with the money. Madam Speaker, is she in order? Is she in order to say that all she's doing in Karurush and elsewhere are building of classroom blocks, when she's supposed to help the people to decide what they want? If it's a classroom, if it's a maternity wing, if it is desks, they're supposed to do all these things. Is she in order to say that they are only doing classroom blocks? Who's instructing you to build the classroom blocks? Is that your decision or decision of government? Madam Speaker, I seek your serious ruling on this matter before this country is deceived.
Order, honorable members. The member who was raising the point of order actually debated the point of order. But from what I was getting, honorable member, the honorable member for Karurushi, when she started her debate, she indicated that as for Karurushi, the people of Karurushi are not happy. So I took it for granted that whatever she was talking about was confined to Kalurushi constituency, where they are using the CDF for classrooms only and such thing. So I was thinking that she was talking about her constituency. So, honorable member, please again just be focused to the budget speech. You may continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, everything I'm saying here is very factual. There were guidelines on how the disbursement of the CDF fund should be used. For example, building of chief palaces, procurement of desks, which obviously has been entailed by free education. And I will speak on free education, Madam Speaker. The March proclaimed free education. Madam Speaker, we have a crisis in this country. And if we are not careful, Madam Speaker, we are going to have an uneducated citizenry. We are having a situation, Madam Speaker, where we have one teacher against 120 pupils, Madam Speaker. The ratio we are talking about employment, Madam Speaker, of the teachers. For example, you employ 30,000 teachers. 30,000 divided across the country. How many teachers will come to Kalurushi? Does that cure the problem? It doesn't cure the problem. Madam Speaker, we have our pupils going to school hungry.
Just mind the mic, honorable member.
Madam Speaker, we have our own children. Please let us be a bit sympathetic to our own children. Walking long distances to access the so-called free education on empty stomachs. Do you think they will get the acquired education? Madam Speaker,
honorable member, please don't ask the members. Just continue with
Madam
your debate.
Speaker, we have a situation where even the proclaimed free education, you'll find that the uniforms of the children, the pupils going, are costing 1,200. Is that free education? It is not free education. Madam Speaker, it is on the floor of this House that the Minister of Finance came to celebrate that they have actually signed the IMF deal. We no longer hear about it. What did the IMF deal do? It brought the high cost of fertilizer, high cost of fuel, high cost of living, Madam Speaker. Today we are told that ZNS will be producing milling meal, and those milling plants were done by the previous government. They have just taken over. Madam Speaker, they are saying this cheap milling meal, which has been reduced by 20 kwacha, it is 280, will be sold in ShopRite. Where will my people from Chati access ShopRite, Madam Speaker? Again, this budget is only speaking to the rich, those that can afford. That is why, Madam Speaker, I'm saying this government is very irresponsible. Madam Speaker, I will go to page, I'll go to page 22. Madam Speaker, water and sanitation. Madam Speaker, just when you go on 132, Madam, to provide adequate sanitation services, 6,000 households will be connected to sewer works. The connections are being done by utility companies in Chipata, Kalulushi. I took interest again, Madam Speaker. I speak for the people of Kalulushi. There was a huge project, Madam Speaker, in Twaiteka, which has been abandoned. Even when you talk about the 6,000, you divide them to the districts that they've put there. Madam Speaker, they will only get maybe 100 of those people that will be connected to water and utility services, Madam Speaker. Again, it's a very responsible government. How do 100 and
Order. Thank you, honorable member. Your time is up. The honorable member for Sioma. The honorable member for Sioma.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Sioma.
Order, honorable members. Order. You may continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Sioma an opportunity to express their thoughts on this very progressive budget. From the outset, Madam Speaker, the good people of Sioma support this budget because it speaks to the many challenges that our people in that rural setup of the country, or part of the country, are facing.
Order, the honorable member for Kasenengwa. Please, you are debating next. So can you just jot down your points? Don't consult your friends. The honorable member, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. As a member of parliament from a rural constituency, I will direct myself to a few issues contained in the budget speech that speaks greatly to the improvements of the welfare of the people in that particular area. I will start with agriculture, Madam Speaker. Agriculture is the mainstay or main activities of our people in that particular constituency. Over time, the people of Sioma have depended much on subsistence farming. Yeah, even the hunger that we are grappling with now is not as a result of laziness. It's just because we're not lucky in the past farming season. And also, combined with the issues of human-animal conflict, where elephants ended up, destroying our crops. So, as a member of parliament for that particular area, I would really want to speak to these two issues: agriculture, tourism, and I'll wind up with CDF. Where we come from, Madam Speaker, there is an adage in Lubale which says, "Chishika kuchichavila, zala kuirimina." Meaning that if you have a cold, the solution is to go and fetch firewood so that you warm yourself. If you are hungry, the solution is to bend, go cultivate, and have enough food. And this is exactly what this government has done. Not too long ago, Madam Speaker, this house was treated to a lot of drama, where we saw colleagues coming to the floor of this house, mistaking it for an agricultural social society. This is parliament. It's not an extension or a branch of the social society there, where people go to exhibit their farm produce. People brought sachets of meal here to come and prove what now? You bring a sachet of meal. What solution did you come up with? Zero. Now, after government has come up with a solution, now that meal has reduced, I'm surprised that those colleagues who came here with the sachets of meal have today failed to come here with the 25 kg of meal bought from ShopRite at a cheaper price. Their failure in itself shows that, Madam Speaker, these people are always just playing to a political gallery. There's nothing that they can offer. So I'm so grateful, Madam Speaker, to the Minister of Finance for whatever we are seeing in agriculture. Agriculture now, our farmers will be able to produce and be able to have something that is commensurate to what they are going to put in. What am I saying? Previously, when someone invested in agriculture, they would just harvest little for consumption. And if at all they end up selling, it will be sold at a song. But here's the situation now, where the farmer will be able to get what is really worthy what they put in, and with some markup. That is commendable, Madam Speaker. Not only that, the issue of fertilizer, which has reduced, this is going to encourage the farmers to grow more and expand their businesses.
Order, Honorable Member. I'm getting the last point of order. The Honorable Member for Nakonde, what is your point of order?
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Madam Speaker, according to our Standing Order 65, we need to be very factual. The Honorable Member who is just debating, Madam Speaker, is stating to say some people came with sachets of meal here, and they haven't come with those when the meal price has been reduced. When he knows, Madam Speaker, that his government promised the Zambian people that meal will be bought at 50 kwacha. And now, Madam Speaker, the meal is 280. Is in order, Madam Speaker, to mislead this Honorable House and misleading himself that this government has reduced meal price. Because in Nakonde, Madam Speaker, we don't have ShopRite. And the people of Nakonde are still buying the meal price at 350. Madam Speaker, I seek your guidance and your ruling. Thank you.
Order, Honorable Member. I think the context that the Honorable Member for Sioma brought it is different from what you've just brought in, Honorable Member. Because the Honorable Member was trying to say when the people were saying there's too much hunger, somebody came with a sachet. But when the price for meal went down, nobody came to show that. So, Honorable Member for Nakonde, you've actually debated as well your point of order. It's not admissible, and you are the one who brought the sachet. So the honorable member for Sioma will continue. Please continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. We now come to livestock. Madam Speaker, this budget talks of a platform, yeah, in that sector, which is targeted at protecting and also managing, efficient managing of the livestock. In this speech, Madam Speaker, the Minister is proposing a platform where animals will be able to be registered.
The honorable member for Mufulira, please, your voice is too high. Thank you. You may continue.
The animals will be registered for easier traceability and identification. For a very long time, our farmers have many times ended up losing their livestock due to stock theft, and also issues of mismanagement in the sense that people could not know really the type of breed or the type of breed, the importance of having this particular breed or that particular breed in their crops. Now, with the coming in of this platform, Madam Speaker, our farmers will be helped. Let me be a bit slow, so that those on the left side can be able to hear. Our farmers will be helped that going forward, those that were in the habit of stealing cattle, their days are now numbered or are short-lived. Why? Because this system will enable our farmers to track their animals as they go from point A to point B, grazing, or each time or any time, in any case of maybe having stolen, it strays away from its usual natural habitat. So this is a welcome move to the people of Sioma out there who are proud cattle ranchers. Madam Speaker, let me conclude with tourism before I touch on CDF. Tourism, Madam Speaker, the minister has proposed, or government is proposing, to reform issues to do with conservation and the management of tourism. This is a welcome move, Madam Speaker, because the people of Sioma have been grappling with serious invasion of elephants, just like I did mention before. So these reforms, Madam Speaker, we are very much happy with them because now we are aware and we are well convinced that they will speak to the improvement in the area of conservation of elephants, so that we do not coexist with these elephants in our own homes, but rather they get confined to their natural habitat, which is the park. Madam Speaker, lastly, is the CDF. People are saying CDF is non-functional. Yes, that's the figment of their own imagination. Otherwise, CDF is real. I'm a first-timer, Madam Speaker. When I came into Sioma as a member of Parliament, Madam Speaker, I found 77 schools. Out of those 77 schools, only 25 had permanent structures. The rest of the schools, children were laying under trees. Madam Speaker, but under 2 years that I've been a member of Parliament, we have been able to build 18 classrooms, 6 maternity annexes, 4 water schemes, so many health spots ranging from 1 up to 8. I've said so many because there are many, and we are still building more. So, Madam Speaker, to me, someone trying to rubbish CDF, I think they are not just being sincere with themselves. If you have failed to manage your CDF, that is your own fault. Surrender it to some of us who are desperate for it. Madam Speaker, for the very first time, I'll be able to put a smile on the face of my chief, the Royal Highness there, who has been soaked each raining season because the people on your left failed to build him a decent palace. Out of CDF, I'm now going to build what? A decent palace for my chief there. What type of a government were these people who could not even take care of their own chiefs? If it's to say, we can say that was the previous government, which was hoax. It was just a semblance of a government, not a government. Through CDF, I will now be able to do the Sinjambera and Angwesh Road and many other feeder roads. Madam Speaker, with these few remarks, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you. The honorable member for Kasenengwa.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to debate the budget. And I'm glad, Madam Speaker, that at least we've been given one more chance to do something peculiar in this house one more time. We await the price of mealie meal to come down to 50 kwacha, so we can bring a bag of mealie meal here and say, here it is. It has been reduced.
Order, honorable member, please. Honorable member, we are not even allowed to bring samples here. What the honorable member for Nakonde did actually, it's supposed to be dealt by the privileges committee. You are not supposed to bring any sample here because one day somebody will come with a knife as a sample. So no samples are supposed to be brought to the house. So continue with the content of the budget speech.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. That is the exact response I wanted, to say we are not allowed. When someone was advocating for people to bring a cheaper bag of minimum here, I needed an answer like the one that you've just given us, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Madam Speaker, I will concentrate more on agriculture, health, because these, Madam Speaker, do not reflect what is happening on the ground. The projections, Madam Speaker, were given on agriculture do not speak to the situation, do not speak to what farmers are expecting in Kasenengwa. Madam Speaker, this budget on agriculture and health lacks tactic and doesn't inspire the farmers in Kasenengwa. Madam Speaker, we are told in this budget that in the year 2022-2023, this country produced 3.2 million tons of maize. But look at what is happening in our constituencies, in our rural constituencies. If indeed we produced 3.2 million tons, why are people eating raw mangoes? Raw mangoes, they cook them, and then they eat. For the first time in my life, I've grown up in my constituency. I saw a child eating a raw cooked mango. I shed tears.
Can you connect that to the budget speech?
Madam, the budget, the government is saying this country has produced enough. If we have enough food security, why are our people starving in our constituencies? Is it because we have exported whatever was in the reserves? Okay, who is our priority? Is it the foreigners out there, or it is our own people in this country? Why are people in Mboza Ward cooking mangoes, cooking bananas, if we have 3.2 million tons of maize? Okay, does that...
Honorable member, just lower your voice a bit. You may continue. Order, honorable member from Fuwe. I think I'm talking to the honorable member on the floor to lower his voice. You may continue, honorable member.
Madam Speaker, permission to allow the member seated in front of me to move. Because, Madam Speaker, this is the way I speak. I don't even know how to whisper.
Honorable member, I think you can adjust.
Madam Speaker, I know he wants to distract me, but let me continue. Madam Speaker, he's saying I'm a health hazard. Madam Speaker, my emphasis is on this 3.2. If we have 3.2, how come people are starving? Okay, wherever you go in this country, people are talking about hunger. And that hunger in this country means the shortage of maize. Even if you give people rice, whatever you give them, the absence of maize, the absence of mini meal means there is starvation in this country. Okay? So we are not speaking to what is happening on the ground. We should be factual, and we need to be very sympathetic to that ordinary person in our constituencies. Okay? This is on page 6, Madam Speaker. What I'm talking about is in the budget, and it is on page 6. If we produce enough maize, and then here it says it's because most of our farmers exported their maize, they sold. Which farmer in Kasenengwa, which farmer in Eastern Province was exporting their maize? To where? This thing, the budget here, this address is not speaking to what is happening in the constituencies. There are no farmers who exported maize in Kasenengwa. Okay? There are no farmers. So we are not being factual here, Madam Speaker. And this is very upsetting to the people in our constituencies. Secondly, Madam Speaker, we are now experiencing hunger in this country because this country has exported the bulk of our maize. There was even a statement where a senior minister came on TV and he said, our neighbors are offering us so much dollars to give them maize at the expense of an ordinary person in Kasenengwa constituency who is now cooking mangoes to survive. The caring government has sold all its maize to Congo.
Order, Honorable Minister. There was a ruling that we are not taking any points of order. You can jot down. You'll be given I think a slot starting from Friday. So that you can rebut and respond to the issues that are being raised. The Honorable Member for Kasenengwa.
Thank you very much, Madam
Please
Speaker.
try to be a bit factual, Honorable Members.
New Dawn government.
Just hold on, Honorable Member. When you say people are eating mangoes, is it all the people or some people? Because that statement, the way you brought it to say people are eating mango, it's like all the people in the country are eating mangoes, or all the people in Kasenengwa are eating mangoes. Can you please qualify?
Madam Speaker, the people in Kasenengwa are cooking raw mangoes. I witnessed it myself. When I heard it, I never believed it. But I saw a small child eating a cooked green mango at Chaponda village, Chief Mazimawi, in Makungwa Ward. I witnessed it last Saturday, just 3 days ago. So I am basing this on the facts. And when I saw that, my tears were rolling down my cheeks because I couldn't believe it. And this is the factual. Madam Speaker, New Dawn government, a tactical government, please give us something new. That is the appeal of the people of Kasenengwa. Give us something new. This FISIP that we talk about and the CDF that we are talking about, okay? We will sing songs here, but the fact on the ground is it reflecting what is happening there? Okay? The answer is no, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Thank you very much.
Order, honorable members, order. The honorable member on the floor, please. You are addressing me, not the other members seated. Just direct your debate towards me. Don't involve the other members because they are not even allowed to debate while seated. So you may continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me face this way. Madam Speaker, we expected this FISIP and this CDF to come in with something that is going to benefit the people of Kasenengwa. First and foremost, I would have thought that maybe that loan component and the grants component be channeled towards the soft loans so that the people in Kasenengwa can go and get soft loans towards their agriculture programs. People can go and get fertilizer. People can go and get farming inputs. What is happening now is that this government should come up with a proper data base. 2 people will form a cooperative and put their children there. Okay, they will go and get grants purporting that they are a cooperative of 15. And yet it's only one family which is benefiting. Okay, but if a system was to be put in place where this money is channeled towards soft loans for agriculture, people go and get 3 bags, 4 bags, maximum maybe 3 million per household, 3,000 kwacha per household. How much more can we help the people out there out of the 7 million which is meant for loans and grants? A lot of people to benefit. We are not talking about exporting maize. We are talking about food security, where each family would have maize at household level. Okay, that is going to benefit a lot of people. That will help us a lot. Madam Speaker, I will come to roads. We are happy that the minister allocated money towards road. But in Kasenengwa, we have the notorious Musoro Road, which is giving us a lot of problems. That road has never been worked on in a long time. It was under contract. It was...
Order, honorable members. Wind up your debate.
It was under contract, but this government cancelled the contract. That Musoro Road is supposed to be worked on under capital projects. But Musoro Road is still like that.
Order. Your time is up. The honorable member for Mitete.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. The concentration will be on page 1, page 18, page 34, bullet number 193. PF left CDF at 1.6. Next year it will be 30.6. What is the difference? 1.6 to 30.6. And I'm coming with the realities of CDF, the miracles of CDF from Upangoma ward. In one polling station where there's a 1-by-3 classroom block at Mutunda and a clinic coming up, slab level, what did we get? Some votes. The other people, 0. Those are the realities. A clinic at Muta, they are now saying Lunani Muliani Wandonga. Meaning they now have injection that they had forgotten in the 10 years. You go to page 34, 204. The minister has allocated money for more medical supplies come next year. But this year, you have had medicine from India. Now you have medicine from Egypt. What are you talking about? Things that were not there. Things that were not there. Honorable Minister of Finance, congratulations. No wonder in some other polling station, you paid some good votes, the other team 0. Where they attempted to do well, their polling agents voted for them, so they got 2. Those are the realities of CDF, Madam Speaker. From the rural places.
The honorable member, please concentrate on the budget speech. You may continue.
Madam Speaker, that was page 34 and 35. CDF. PF left it at 1.6. Next year it would be 30.6 million. I'm hearing Katunda, page 18, bullet number 100. That's where there is now Tateyoyo Katunda Road. Meaning there is a light at the end of the tunnel for Katunda, Lukulu, Watopa, Mumbeji Road for next year. And everyone here was happy with the mention of Katunda. That is new dawn. There is now new dawn. New hope. Madam, when you hear of now we've received 7 million, because you've not been using the other monies, the other millions. If you can't use, what do you expect? They give you food you can't eat. Then you say, give me more lamps. For what? Go and use the CDF. I just listened to the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. Police vehicles will be a thing of the past. What else? Happy. Page number 1, bullet number 4, debt restructuring. Minister of Finance with your team, congratulations. You just came from France, and yes, people congratulate. Why should we be annoyed when your creditors gives you breathing space? Well, what's your problem? You want us to get annoyed with that? Madam Speaker, he's just coming back from Morocco. From Morocco, another agreement out of what our colleagues left, another breathing space. That's why we are celebrating, and it's for your own good as well. If this debt restructuring was not made, the python would have swallowed us. No one was going to be talking. In Mitete, there was a shortfall of 12,000 desks. Now, a distribution of 4,300 desks is going on. Yes, for a start, there's 30.6. So the difference shall be made. That's what you do, Madam Speaker, with CDF. The classroom blocks, the clinics, staff houses for agriculture extension officers, the veterinary officers. That is this budget. Madam Speaker, 30.6 minus 1.6, 29. If it was in terms of football, it would have been 29-0. Where I'm coming from, 29 cannot. Not.
Meaning what, Honorable
Meaning 29-0. Madam Speaker, thank you so much. This budget is a very good budget.
Thank you. The acting leader of government business adjournment. Order, honorable members.
29-0. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that this House do now adjourn.
The question is that the House do now adjourn. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.
Live parliamentary proceedings. Business will resume on Thursday. It being a public holiday tomorrow, we won't be able to broadcast the live proceedings. Time now to look at business that was considered on the floor of the House starting at 14:30 hours.
So when business resumed today at 14:30 hours, Madam Speaker did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils as well as teachers from Shatu Private School and Little Stars Pre and Primary School, Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, did welcome the visitors to the National Assembly.
After that announcement, the House went on to consider 5 questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 74. The first question did come from Kanchiria MP, Mr. Chanda, who did ask the Minister of Energy whether the government has any plans to set up a solar plant in Kanchiria district in order to enhance electricity supply to the districts and surrounding areas. And in response, the Minister of Energy did say that government has no immediate plans to set up a solar plant in Kanchiria district. And the Kanchiria lawmaker also wanted to find out what the estimated cost of the project is. And in response, the Minister of Energy did say that the cost will only be established after feasibility studies have been undertaken. And in the other part of the question, the last part of the question, Mr. Chanda wanted to find out what alternative measures are being taken to resolve the energy challenge in the area. And the minister mentioned quite a number of measures, among them that government has been undertaking projects that connect communities to the national grid. So that's the question that was posed by Kanchiria Member of Parliament, Mr. Chanda.
Question 107 came from Mr. Levan Chiwombwe, who happens to be Bahata Member of Parliament. He did direct his question to the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. He wanted to find out in A, whether the government has any plans to construct another bridge across Mansa River on the Mansa-Kawambwa Road in Mansa District to replace the current bridge, which is in a deplorable state. So in answering this question, the minister did say that government has plans to construct a bridge across Mansa River. And B, the Member of Parliament wanted to find out when the plans will be implemented, and the minister did respond that the plans will be implemented once Treasury secures the funds. And in C part, the minister did say that the plans are underway.
Mr. Chuya of Mkushi North Parliamentary Constituency did ask the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development when the construction of the Mansansa Local Court in Mkushi District will be completed. And the Minister did say that the local court will be completed by 31st December 2023. And the MP wanted to find out what the cause of the delay in completing the project is, and the Minister said this is due to inadequate funds. The Member of Parliament for Mkushi North also wanted to find out how much money has been paid to the contractor as of June 2023, and in response the Minister did say that the monies amount to 422,284 kwacha. The last part of the question, the Member of Parliament wanted to find out what the time frame for the completion of the project is, and the Minister did say that the time frame is 12 weeks.
And question 109 came from Ms. Chrysosta Halwindi, Kabwe Central Member of Parliament. She did direct her question to the Minister of Education. She wanted to find out in 3 parts. In A, whether the government has any plans to construct a boarding secondary school in Kafulamase area in Kabwe Central Parliamentary Constituency. And the minister did say that government has no plans to construct a boarding school in Kafulamase area in Kabwe Central Parliamentary Constituency. So basically this means that the answer meant that part B and C over the question fell off.
And the last question, understanding order number 24, came from Mangango lawmaker, Mr. Mwende. He wanted to find out from the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security whether the government has any plans to construct staff houses at the Nyango Correctional Service Training School in Kaoma District. And the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Honorable Mwimbu, did say that government has plans to construct 120 staff housing units at Nyango and the Phase 2 housing project. And in the other part of the question, the Member of Parliament for Mangango wanted to find out when the plans will be implemented. And the Minister did say that the plans will be implemented when government approves the Phase 2 housing project and when funds are made available. So those are the 5 questions, understanding order number 24, that were considered on the floor of the House.
Thereafter, there was a resumption of debate on the motion of supply. This is the motion of 29th of September, which was brought by Finance and National Planning Minister, Dr. Stumbe Komsokotwan, that the House do now resolve into a committee of supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2024 to 31st December 2024, together with the annual borrowing plan presented to the National Assembly in September 2023.
Right, and just about now we'll go through some of the names of the members of parliament that indicated to debate, or rather debated. We did have on the floor of the House Mr. Peter Piri, who's from Kaika constituency. Also, Loizi West, Member of Parliament, also debated this supply motion, Mr. Mukumbi. It was followed by Chosefu MP, Mr. Nyambose. We had Kasama Central Member of Parliament, Ms. Mwamba. Kantashi MP, Mr. Mumba, also added his voice.
So we also had Mr. Simuzingiri, Gwembe Member of Parliament, who did add his voice to this motion. Others included Mr. Levan Chivombwe, Bahati Member of Parliament. He did debate this motion as well. We also had Ms. Pamba Mulenga, Kaloloshi Member of Parliament. She did also add her voice to this motion of supply. Others include Mr. Mandandi, Mr. Kalie Mandandi, Sioma Member of Parliament, who also did add his voice.
And Mitete lawmaker, Mr. Mtelo, also debated the supply motion. It was followed by Kasanengwa MP, Mr. Twasa. I don't know if we forgot to mention Mr. Smuzingili of Gwembe.
Yeah.
He also debated this particular motion. And so that's it. That's all the time that we had for you. Would like to thank you for your time. Be sure to join us on Thursday for more. From all of us, it's bye-bye and God bless.
Thank you.
You can now advertise on Parliament Television and Parliament Radio. For more information, call 0977 854102 or 0977 536487. Parliament Television, bringing Parliament closer to you.